see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad.
Got to get the coughs out early. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Now You Made It Awkward podcast. I believe we're on episode 23. This is the weird part about the way we've been recording lately. I believe it's episode 23. Because we're recording stuff before the previous episode comes out, so it gets a little confusing for me. But either way, what's up, guys? So, I am Shoky, of course, and you can follow me at all the Shoky-related things in the description down below. And with me today, I have returning Mr. Dormammu / Rob.
Yasu, Yeropoli, Melene Dormammu. It's my best Greek. Sorry, I butchered it, folks.
It's fine. Actually, I may as well just forward you the email that we got earlier because there's some foreign languages in it. And then we do have Rikki, as usual, over here. And you can follow everything. You can follow Ricky's work over at the Nerd Rage Radio Facebook, where he makes their promos, and over on the Realm Hatton Project on the Realm of Collectors channel on Friday nights, whether that's for the direct streams or the just straight up hangouts. And you could do that. Unfortunately, I don't get to do that because I'm generally streaming when he's live. So, either way. And of course, shout out to Mike, who still is dealing with life. And unfortunately, his life has been getting even more complicated. So if you would like to donate to help Mike and his family, they desperately could use it. I think the last time I checked on their GoFundMe, they're up to about $1,800 or something like that, and they still need about $4,000. And now Mike has to get his car repaired just to get back and forth to work. So unfortunately, Mike's life is getting significantly worse. I will link to his GoFundMe down below if you can donate, please. You could also purchase directly from him if you want to just buy merch instead of just donating. You can do so at Freelance Graphics with a K. Link down below. And once he eventually gets settled somewhere, I'm sure he'll be back to work on the Comic Relief Crusader YouTube channel and Facebook group. So, our thoughts as always with Mike and his family. And I hope they get out of this shit sometime soon. So he's definitely not been his joyful self in the chat lately. Did we just go into awkward silence mode?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
All our best hopes for
yes.
Mike.
So awkward silence mode. Yes. Awkward silence mode engaged. All right. And of course, if you want to buy any merch, you can do so at the Shoky store. Any Nymea merch purchased at all, I'll donate towards Mike's thing. There's not a whole lot of stuff in there, but it's our main logo. There's the if you buy your own merch or a doof shirt, there's the Learn to Retard shirt with Sean. So if you want to get any of that kind of stuff, as long as I see that it was that, not any of the normal Shoky merch, I'll donate that to Mike's deal as well. So there you go. If you want to at least get something for a donation, you can do so. But speaking of you guys, we got comments and we have an email. So let's see here. Let me scroll through. Make sure there's no other new comments. Nope. Okay. So on episode 21, which was John Wick and other things wrong with the MCU, good old Will commented on the comic / MCU topic. Number 1. I agree with Rikki. Keep the spirit of the character first and let nerds who know the materials write them.
Vindication, Rikki.
Yeah. So, by the way, guys, this conversation comes up again in episode 22, which you'll hear before this, but, we talked about it a couple times. And then he says, number 2, I assume Disney does things the way they do to get normies like me to watch the movies and shows. I like going in blind. I can read up on stories and characters afterwards. It keeps my reactions honest if I don't have any preconceived notions on how anyone should be.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that's
agreed. Which is what we talked about before, like having your own baggage before you come into a franchise.
Yeah, that's why I'm enjoying things like we'll be discussing Sandman in a little bit, because not knowing anything about that character except for like the brief interactions of a different version of that character in the DC universe, I know nothing of it and can just enjoy Balky trying to get his sand back. So I had a moment earlier this week where I could not stop seeing him as Balky from Perfect Strangers, and now it's completely stuck in my head. And good old Dormammu made a quick meme or two for me. So either way,
Yeah. 80s Bronson Pin show looks quite on point.
yeah. Especially I think it's in episode 6 where he's actually out in the daylight and stuff, and a bit more expressive than usual. That was like
Episode 6 is the best episode of the whole show.
I won't say the whole show because we haven't
That's
seen the whole show yet.
Open Wings. That's the Open Wings one or whatever.
That's her. I forgot exactly what it's called. Something Sound of Her Wings.
Sound of Her Wings. Yeah, the one
Not
with death,
crying,
right?
You're crying.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so
that episode was awesome.
I'm going to do a thing real quick as soon as my phone cooperates. Select all. Copy. Rob, I am sending you the contents of this email because Jay sent in stuff with multiple languages in it. However, he didn't put them in their actual languages. It's in the English spelling of said thing. So maybe you can make more sense of it than I can.
I will try.
Yeah. Some of it I understand. The rest of it I don't. So going on to the email, which if you want to write in, you can do so at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com. We would definitely love more people to write in. Did you get it?
Sure did.
Okay. What is that opening line?
It's
Some of
a
it's
combination. It's actually a combination. He went full Blade Runner in here.
Yeah, he did, because there's Chinese, German.
Let's see.
I think Italian.
Yeah, Italian for sure. Shalom. Yep. Hebrew.
Is it Hebrew? That's what I thought.
It's
Okay.
Hebrew.
But because he put
Italian.
he put it all in English. So the Google couldn't make heads or tails of it.
Well, I will answer one of your questions about number 3. How many languages do we speak? The answer is very poorly, a smattering of a little bit of everything, and mostly the words that you cannot say on podcasts and YouTube.
There you go.
So we'll just leave it at that. It's me being funny because I watch a lot of subtitled anime through most of my young to adult life. B, I grew up in a very Italian and Greek part of New York City. And C, never actually, even though I am half Hispanic, never learned Spanish. So
that's weird.
yeah.
But I mean, if you know enough Italian,
10 different languages and get by.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at. Yeah.
And get by in about 3 to 4 different languages.
Oops, I just increased the volume just a little. Excuse me, a little too much. Okay, so I'm going to read the rest of the email, but he says something towards Mike right at the beginning. Ni hao is Chinese, right?
Japanese.
That's correct.
Huh?
Isn't it? I thought it was Japanese.
No, ni hao is Chinese.
It's Chinese. And it's just hello, right?
It's just hello.
Yeah. So
it's like, how you doing?
I think what he did is he just said hi and something else to Mike. I have no idea exactly what he said there.
Hi, hello, and I
don't know what Coglione is. Okay. Yeah, hair Mike. So yeah, threw that out there. Sorry, I almost choked on my own spit. Seriously, sinus issues with all this weather changing. It's been raining off and on like crazy right now, and it's still 95 degrees.
Here. It just turned pitch black right here. I'm looking at it. It's going to dump ass here in a little while.
Yeah, you might have to retreat inside to the RIKKI cave.
Fall is a coming, folks.
All right, so he replies, because remember we were talking about his email back in that. I believe he's responding. Actually, I don't know if he's responding 21 or 20. That's a hard part at this point. So I tried to email you guys every Friday, but episode 21 must have been recorded before then. Yes, it was. So for everybody who doesn't realize, we're off by a week because we wanted to make sure that if something happens, like for instance, my wifey is sick, I was not feeling great this morning. If we needed to take off, we still have an episode that we can release without having to be panicking to make one happen. So either way, episode 1 must have been recorded before then. The emails I send are in short form. Okay. I assume that means he tends to write them in replies as he's listening to the episodes. So it's usually in the order of what happens in the episode. So, Ricky, you bumped a couple of my triggers in episode 20. I have about 6 triggers that I can control and 1 that I can't. I know you are making a point/joking, which is why you bumped but not switched them on. The one I can't control is a man hitting a woman. A playful hit is one thing. A sucker punch is something else. I don't remember if we said anything about...
What triggers did I bump?
I assume that we said something about hitting a woman jokingly, but I don't...
I would never say anything about hitting a woman. I don't hit women.
I don't remember what the context of that conversation was. But anyway, so he does have.
Well,
those.
I might have said something about having to put some stink on Kara or something. Probably joking around. That sounds accurate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I figured the only way you'd be joking around is like something to that level.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he said comments on episode 21 and Manhattan Project number 4 and the next email. So this is a episode 20 reply essentially. All right, so he says, Shoki, I will be a guest when one of 2 things happen. I like how he's setting his own terms for when he can come on the show. It says, 1, Bella Signora Shoki is on the podcast, so if Miss Shoki comes on the podcast. Or I get my channel started and everyone on the podcast subs. So if he does start his YouTube channel, as long as we all subscribe to him, he'll come on our channel.
Well, you better start praying Miss Shoki comes on then.
Yeah, Ricky doesn't even watch anything. It's fine.
I watch a bunch of stuff.
I know, it's just a question. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to go with this 2 yes and no questions first, because he does have a political question here. This is number 1. Should models be historically accurate or censored?
What do you mean by models?
I think he legitimately
models?
means models, like put together models.
So he's saying like the General Lee should have the rebel flag on it type thing?
I agree that it should, because it's technically part of it, and it always was. I mean, and it's not like they were representing
I have a
those
whole
things.
different take on the rebel flag than most people do. I don't care. I don't wave. Never have worn. Never waved it. I am far from a redneck. Don't like country music. Don't wear blue. In fact, the only blue jeans I have is a pair of shorts. Like I am far from anything stereotypical of a redneck, and even I think it's dumb how everybody made such a big deal about it, because that flag had nothing to do with what people are trying to attach it to.
No, we had that discussion. We had that discussion with Beansy,
with Mike.
I
wasn't on that one.
Yeah, you weren't on that one.
Mike Beansy had it. Yeah.
So
and I don't do I don't put blame there, because people had slaves and during slavery times and flew banners in the North while owning slaves. So that flag has nothing to do with what was happening.
No, and the fact that it's just the battle flag of Virginia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, like, they associate it to the South, of course, and they associate it to the
like inbred white trash people.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's so few people who see it the way that the other side does. Like, It's like people don't see it that way. Like, and symbols are only, oh, that's what fell. I heard something fall the other day and I just realized what it was. It was Toka took a shelf dive. So I have to go dig him out. He's down there on the floor.
The movie one?
Yes. So he's down there on the floor somewhere. I was wondering what I heard fall because I couldn't see it, and I thought it was a Power Ranger. Either way. So either way, I don't not necessarily that. I gotta wonder if he means like if there's any like World War II planes or tanks or something that might have Nazi symbols on them or something like that, or an iron cross. Well, he's talking
again, that should be on there because it's historically accurate.
Yeah, I don't believe that history should only be censored
if it's used to try to hurt somebody.
I would say
if it's just explaining what happened, then whitewashing it or cleaning it up makes it worse, because
you negate what happened.
Very famous quote: you forget your past, you're doomed to repeat it. If you forget what happened before, and we're trying to make it all go away because we want to be sensitive and not hurt somebody's feelings, it's gonna happen again.
It's history. Teach it. Learn it.
Yeah, you're supposed to learn from history.
What it means, though.
The bad stuff needs to be taught too, because you can only better yourself by learning from your mistakes. If you think you're doing everything right, you'll never better yourself, because you're going to keep that line. You're just going to keep riding that line. But you look at something you did wrong, that'll make you raise up and be better than what you are.
I also went in a different direction with the way the question was was written, but written in that I was thinking, well, what if he's talking about like the Figma David or the model of Venus de Milo that's being released by Figma? Should those be censored or historically accurate? I think they should be.
They should be
accurate.
accurate. There's no reason to censor that
because that's art, and that is
art.
That is how it is.
Yeah. So
But,
no, that's an interesting interpretation too, because frankly, we're doing way too much censoring in this world right now. And it's like people being able to pick what is supposed to be the truth and hiding any other version of it, so that you're only told one thing, you're only told one story, you're only told one side, and that if you go against that side at all, you're silenced or censored. Now that is an issue, a very modern day issue in comparison.
When you clean it all up and you're spending 6 months talking about bootlegging that happened while Prohibition was going on, which only lasted, 12 years, 13 years?
Yeah.
And then you want to completely ignore hundreds of years worth of stuff. You want to talk about it in 2 minutes because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. You're doing history wrong.
Yeah. And like, I don't know if he has a specific reference. Obviously he'll write in in probably two episodes.
He's probably writing right now while we're talking.
Well, no, because I figured that one does need elaboration. But I figured when he said models, that's where my mind went, is if they're going to remove, like, say, an Iron Cross or anything like that, if they could be quote unquote offensive on a current, like, Kotobukiya model kit or something like that,
right.
Or
there's right ways to do stuff. When it's historically accurate, it's fine for it to be. But like, I know it's been a conversation recently, like they have that Transformer line that's coming out.
Yeah.
The one that we were talking about, the boats and all that stuff. And forcing that to look like a German officer just to say it's a bad guy is one thing. And I think I didn't have a big issue with it, but I know a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's a bad guy. He's a German boat, a World War II German boat.
Actually, that one's not I don't think that's the boat. That's the.
Oh no, it's a tank.
That's
tank,
that,
right?
Yeah, that's the
rail
Gustav.
tank or whatever.
It's the Gustav,
yeah.
Tank, yeah.
So it's a World War II era machinery, and it's German, and it turns into a Nazi officer. That seems pretty accurate to me.
Or at least a German officer. It's at least a German officer, not necessarily a Nazi.
Well, at that point in time, they would have been the same thing. Yeah. You didn't get one without the other.
Yeah,
so
but I'm just saying, like, there's a slight out
there.
Their
ideology might not have been the same, but they wore the same uniforms at that point. By that point, it was all the same.
Yeah,
so
but I mean, if it
the uniform wise,
it's ever so slightly different to just having the Iron Cross on there versus straight up having a Nazi flag. It's a softer censoring than getting rid of it entirely.
Still, me personally, if it had a swastika on there, I would not be bothered by it because again,
there's also
is there verbiage in the thing that says that we should all finish doing with what he started back then? That everything he said was right and we were wrong for being involved in that war? Because if there's not any of that literature in there, then they're not being pro what they were.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, as long as it's not representing it as a, hey, check out how cool this is, not
hold on 1 second, guys. I gotta interrupt real quick because my kid's coming out here to tell me he beat the last boss of his Cuphead DLC, and he wanted to let me know. They said, congratulations, dude.
Good job, bud.
It's forever. They said, good job, bud. Good job. You're as awesome as your dad at video games. High five. High five. All right, get lost. Now it's reported for posterity. We'll all be able to remember this. Get lost. Shoky, make sure you cut all this part out so we never hear it again.
Okay, on it. I stopped recording.
No, hold on. They started laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt.
What I was going to say,
they were all excited. They were dancing up and down in front of the window. So let me know.
They're better than me at that game, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no kidding, same. I was gonna say there are actual references. For example, I mean, and not to get too far into it, but like we went to a Buddhist temple. It's that's near us. It's only about a 15-minute drive, and there are 4-point symbols on it that look like
it's a swastika.
Nazi swastika symbol,
but
that's not what it represents.
No, it's not. It's about peace.
The swastika was around long
it's
before.
Peace and light and other things like that.
It's the 4 paths of paths of enlightenment. Yes,
yeah.
And that's so again this is where teaching history and actually understanding it and teaching how to understand it. And
I'll tell you what,
it's important. Don't just gloss over it.
I will tell you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, let me because on this point. So for those who don't realize, the Nazi version of the swastika is rotated at least 45 degrees off axis. The regular
sometimes it's flipped, sometimes
it's backwards, correct. The original Buddhist version of it is straight up and perpendicular. Now, sometimes people will use that in movies and TV to have a softer version of it without realizing what they're actually representing. But I will tell you, I did get into some trouble on YouTube because I showed off my Bleach Tensa sword, which Ichigo's symbol is a Buddhist swastika. But it is the proper perpendicular
but then
version.
one of the things you'd want to do then is learn what the Buddhist term for it is, because swastika is a German term because it's based off of a Celtic rune. So it's not even
it's a name of the symbol realistically, but it doesn't mean that it's, there's other
even the original wasn't
like
swastika, like, because they took it from the Celtic runes because a lot of them were big into like sorcery and black magic stuff.
Yeah, but it's been used. It's been used.
Oh, it's used everywhere. It's a very common.
Yeah.
It's not like this intricate design. It's a very basic design. So it's like bread. Every form of tribal people in this world have had bread in some way or another since the beginning of time, and none of them were giving each other recipes. It's a basic thing to make.
Well, technically,
so this is the same thing.
Technically,
it's like a square with a couple of the sides off of it. I mean, it's not.
Now,
it's not a huge thing.
Now, on this particular topic, have you heard about the guy in the UK that was arrested for sharing a meme that, now mind you, he shared a meme. It wasn't his. It was the new version of the pride flag that people had realized, wait a minute, if you put 4 of them together at a specific angle, it makes a rainbow swastika. So he shared the meme, which actually literally his neighbor shared the first time. This guy legitimately pissed somebody off on Facebook, and they went and arrested him for it.
For a hate crime?
No, they didn't call it a hate crime. They called it causing anxiety to another person on social media.
People are sensitive. They're going to be sensitive about stuff. And just so everybody knows, so it's not y'all can make it a big deal if you want to. Me, of anybody, should be offended by this conversation that we have. And if you understand what I'm saying, then you understand what I'm saying. And it is not offensive to me at all.
Yeah.
Like 0%.
Well, you're not a white suburb bored mom.
That right there is the problem. It's the Karens of the world.
Yeah, you're not a suburban white woman, Ricky, so therefore you're not allowed to be angry about these things.
Let me tell you, I lived close to a reservation when I lived in Mississippi, and I had friends that were what are we calling them now? First Nation? Like
you can call them whatever you want. They're Native Americans.
Well, they were Native Americans when I lived there. And I never heard any of them complain about baseball team names or football team names.
In fact,
I promise you, none of them ever did.
Dude, when we had that conversation the other day, whenever you went to go see the Cleveland, not Indians anymore. Because I don't know what they're actually called. That's why it's Commanders.
Guardians.
Guardians. So there were people who legitimately came out when the NFL and Major League Baseball were changing all these things and said, "You guys realize that by quote unquote censoring these things, you're actually erasing, you're removing the existence of Native peoples." It's like you're saying that nope, never mind, we can't do this, and you're eliminating it when there are people who are like happy that symbol exists out there and that they're represented, even if it's in a slightly comical fashion. Let's be honest here, the Cleveland Indians.
If you do, you're damned if you don't.
Though. Exactly, but the problem is, why do, or why do the new do, not the old do? The original.
But I mean, I think the answer to his question number 1 was all 3 of us say no.
Exactly.
I think the basic answer is no.
It should be historically accurate, but not censored. No.
Like as long as you're not using it to try to be hurtful. Like I know at one point in time there was a third party like mod kit thing going around where you could modify some of the Marvel Legends and stuff so they look directly like Nazi officers instead of like Hydra agents and stuff.
Sure.
And even that still, if they're using it for a display with like World War II stuff, isn't offensive. But I know that there was a picture going around where one guy took it a little too far and decided to show these Nazi officers that he made leading some human type figures into what looked very much like a shower scene, with the big metal door on it and everything. That's too far. See that there? Then you're doing it wrong.
Well,
but if you're just having them there with like their vehicles and stuff, and it just represents it, fine. If you're if
here's
you're
the
waving
question.
flags and you're preaching hate, like you're a neo-Nazi and you want these figures, yeah, then
That's a different story.
Then you're just, yeah.
Though I will say, in all of this discussion, context matters.
Yes.
Because the thing in and of itself cannot be offensive. The context around said thing is what should always be considered to be offensive or inoffensive. So the guy who made that scene, if he was doing it as a historical representation with his action figures, and that's all he was doing, no harm, no foul. If he was saying, ha ha ha, look what I did, then that's kind of a dick move. Let's be honest.
Because I mean, where's the cutoff? Let's go with Lego. Lego's doing the big castles right now. They're redoing them. Gore is really big into them. And let me tell you, these things are gorgeous. He was showing them to me. But let's say somebody wants to be a little butthurt snowflake about it. Like, oh, you can't make these castles anymore because this is classism. Because that guy you got over there.
Oh, don't give them the idea. Don't give them ideas, Ricky.
You see what I'm saying?
Don't give them the idea. They'll do it.
Where does it stop? But where does it stop?
They better tear down Mickey's castle. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, we make Star Wars toys. Well, we got to stop making Empire characters because they're the villains. And
Hold on.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
you know
where
what
does
they
it
did?
stop at?
It apparently stops at removing the name of Boba Fett's ship.
Oh, yeah, which is stupid.
Stupid. No one was asking for that. No one.
Because it referenced a part of the ship where it plugs into his helmet, so he was slaved into the ship to use it because it had a viral neural network built into it too.
But even
people are dumb.
Now, if they wrote a contextual reason for Boba Fett himself to rename the ship after life has changed, cool. But just going, we're not calling it that anymore, and we're erasing any reference to it.
How about the fact they won't make a slave Leia? They won't make a slave Leia. That, to me, would represent
empowerment.
They won't.
That's female empowerment. That represents
me, women empowerment. This is a woman like tore down to literally just wearing underwear and fought back and beat all these people with weapons. You're not going to get much more.
She killed a giant slug creature with nothing but the chain he put her in. But no,
you don't get much more empowerment than that.
You don't get much more badass in empowerment.
She's killing the guy with the chain that he chained her up with.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy to me how people pick and choose which lane they're going in.
Just want to choke a Hutt.
Yeah,
choke a Hutt. There's a euphemism. Gotta excuse me. I gotta go choke a Hutt.
I don't know if that means you're jerking it or shitting, but either way, it kind of works.
Or never mind. I'm not going to finish that thought out loud. Either way, well, if you got a big, fat slug, you know.
Yeah, to me, the problem lies in I kind of brushed.
By the way, these were yes or no questions, and we did not do yes or no. But I guess
we did actually.
Yeah,
we did say
yes. They should not be censored.
Yeah, but the problem with it is the reason why I can see why it's okay to be censored is that the neo-Nazi that collects it, the one that wants it as part of his propaganda collection. But the problem is that's like 1%, like less than 1%.
Yeah.
And if you think that's less than 1% of the populace is a neo-Nazi, how much smaller of that percentage is actually a toy collector? So it's like
they mostly want to collect their own paraphernalia. I don't think they're.
They want actual real war stuff. They don't want the toy versions of it.
Yeah,
so
they like different diecast.
I don't get the stupidness of it. It's crazy to me. This world is nuts that we live in.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
So
so the answer is no. Don't edit it as long as it's appropriate to the historical value, and that's only if that was the type of modeling you were talking about.
Yeah, because those are pretty.
And if you're talking about the Venus, de Milo one and the David one, who cares? I like the David statue. It makes my pecker look huge. Fuck that dude and his little dick. And in Venus de Milo, she had no arms and no nips. There's nothing sexy about that. That is just a statue. People need to relax.
Yep.
Just relax.
True. His next question, which is a yes or no question, which is digging at the fact we were talking about the shirt cost, because he said, is $26.99 cheap for a t-shirt?
Depends on what's on it, because you're paying for the license that's on it, not the t-shirt.
Well, it's our stuff. So
you're talking about our stuff?
Yeah, he's talking about our shirt.
I don't know how much our stuff costs.
That's the price for the premium tee. And to let you in on a secret here, $26.99 is only with a $2 profit. So that means a lot of that money goes to Teespring, and I get a whopping $2 out of a t-shirt. Now, if I drop that down and make it a 50-cent profit or a 50-cent profit, I mean, then it's only $24.99, which I guess is still not cheap realistically, but branded stuff anywhere is not going to be super cheap unless you've bought it in bundles and you're selling a fuckload of it. But you know, even on my back end, if I want just a if I want the quote unquote sample with no profit or anything else like that, it's just me buying a single print of it. I think I still pay something like $17.99. So that's how much profit Teespring themselves makes out of selling our merch. You know, it's not like I'm cranking up the price on shit just to be whatever. You know,
we're not printing these in our basement making profit. This is some other company is
it's
making
a third
the money.
party
We're
company.
just the guys coming up with the ideas.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is the problem with having to use such a service, but I can't sit here and dedicate however many hours per week on doing single print runs of shirts and stuff like that. So you got to outsource it, like Teespring or T-Bubble or any of these other, or Redbubble.
And it's a company, so it's trying to make money too. So
yeah. So they're purchasing the shirts. They're making all the stuff to make the prints, whether that's a single shirt that gets printed or 150 shirts that get printed. They have to do all of that labor, and then they have the shipping cost as well. So, I mean, you can be upset at the price of the shirt, and yes, they have gone up. I'm not even going to lie about that. Inflation still is a part of it. But, you know,
y'all remember we used to get shirts for like $10?
Yeah. Yeah, just basic.
Now, if you go to buy a $10 shirt, the words are going to be misspelled. It's going to be like a KO picture of whatever character you actually wanted on there. I mean, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see here.
You just validated by saying they're artisanal. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. There exactly. Well, you got to think about it. If we were making it, we would have to charge more.
Yep, because we'd have to pay the license fee and then pay all that extra stuff.
I mean, but also
RIKKI demands a high salary.
But we'd be paying for it in our own labor. You know,
just so y'all know, I make $300 on every $2 he makes because I'm bougie like that.
Right. All right. Let's see here. He says
that's Florida math, motherfuckers.
Yep, and that's why I didn't go to Florida to learn math. All right. So a few questions. He already had questions, so he says a few. Rob already read the how many languages do you speak? Technically, I only speak the one, but I can understand a few more, read a few more.
He's pretty good at Spanish, yo.
I can read it. Can't speak it worth a shit. Same with, you know, Italian. You know, I can read some, or I can understand some Japanese from watching so many anime. There's some somewhat fictional languages I can read because I've taken the time to translate them.
Klingon dork.
Nothing like that, but there's ones where, like in Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise, they show off the Eldoran language, which is a 1-to-1 English translation. They just switch the symbols. So once I figured out the key, I could just translate it and got good enough to actually just recognize it offhand. Same thing in the game Stray, the video game Stray. They have a very similar language in there. Now, some of that I believe is actually some proper like Korean and a few other languages that are mixed in, and there's some straight up English in there. But there is also a 1-to-1 alien language that is English, except they're inconsistent even within the game because I translated most of it. I was still missing a few letters and I didn't have any of the numbers. So there was a couple things where they switched what W and V were, and then they switched C and S, and then they had a completely different version of E. Like, it just didn't even look the same. So, and maybe that was within the show because they were moving to different cities. Like, maybe different cities evolved slightly different versions of the language. I don't know. It was never explained. But, like, that's the kind of languages I'm good with. And obviously, Rob talked about his lingual abilities earlier. His plays of the tongue. And Rikki, you can just curse in other languages.
His first question is also, are reproduction games illegal, or are they or are they okay? And that's the way I'm interpreting that one is, are you?
What are you talking? What?
So
he's talking about foreign languages. What are you talking about?
No. So okay, so sorry, Rikki can't see the email.
Yeah.
Sorry. So the first question,
I've never seen any of these emails. So
yeah. So
one of the questions he asked was about the languages, but the first he was like a few questions, and he asked like, this is the translation. Do we consider reproduction games illegal or fair play?
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be French. Nepas.
Yeah, it's a mix of
Yeah, so he's actually mixing French languages in a single sentence.
It's probably like Quebec French just to fuck with Mike.
We appreciate your interpretive natures here.
But it is annoying.
My answer to that is the law is the law, and that's as far as I'm going to go.
Yeah, I'm
Ho
with.
ho ho R.
Yeah, I don't. I don't pirate like I used to. I used to definitely get my Gokaiger on with certain torrents, but see what I did there? External
I see
reference.
what you did there.
But no,
But
I
yeah,
think if you're
no.
straight copying it, it's the same as straight up copying anything else. I don't believe in it.
Well, the problem is because like I had that happen. I had a Super Nintendo, like an actual cartridge Super Nintendo, and I bought a game. And then when I went to go sell it off, the guy hit me up. He's like, "Dude, this game that I bought from you is not the real deal." I'm like, "Yeah, it is. It's it was in the box and everything." He's like, "No, it's a whatever he just called it,
Reproduction.
Yeah, it was a reproduction of it." And I'm like, "I didn't know that when I bought it. I mean, I sent him a screenshot of what I paid for it. I'm like, you can see that I paid out the wazoo for it. So this person KO'd that game, sold it to me at its secondary market value, and it wasn't worth the paper it was made from."
Yeah.
You know, it was a reprinted box. They took an old SNES cartridge, reprinted the label from the game, stuck it on there, and put a new chip in there with the like they erased the old game and put this game on there, and sold it to me as the actual game itself.
Yep.
So to me it's a KO, and it's the same. If you feel it, we're collectors, so I mean, if you're okay with KOs, you'll be okay with that.
Which I'm not.
If you're not okay with KOs, you won't be okay with that.
Just like
my
your
thing
collecting may vary, your scruples may vary too.
Yeah,
so
that's why he's asking.
Mine is
ours.
just be honest about it. See, I'm more mad that the guy lied to me about it and screwed me on it. If he was honest and told me up front, I just wouldn't have bought it.
So,
you know what I mean?
For instance, talk about KOs. Because I collect these Figuart Zero anime statues, right? So the earlier Naruto statues are really hard to come by, and the two that are the hardest to come by is the Sasuke and Itachi statues that come together, and there are far more KOs or recasts and repaints of it than there are actual ones out there. But the thing is, even if you buy an actual one, unless it comes in a sealed box and it's got like all the stuff from Bandai to really make sure it's real, I don't think you could trust it. Like, because the repainters are actually getting pretty good, and like half of it's cast in a translucent resin, for effects and stuff like that. So it's like, and part of me thought, I was like, look, I know I'm never going to get an original, and I guess Bandai does not intend to ever redo these. So maybe if I want that particular set, I might have to buy a KO, but like, I don't trust some person in China or Korea or wherever it is they're making it. The quality isn't guaranteed, and I'm looking at a picture on eBay. I don't fucking know what I'm getting, right? So it's like, I'm going to probably forever miss out on a really cool set of statues until maybe the officials ever get reprinted or redone. And Bandai is not necessarily known to do that. They'll hold on to old stock and re-release it as a next wave, as we're very familiar with Transformers. But Bandai will do that too with like Soul of Chogokin and stuff like that, where they'll say it's like, oh, it's 2 years later. Yeah, we redid it. It's a second release. No, they just held on to 1,000 units is what they did. They're not making that shit again, especially when there's that much die cast. But yeah,
and
basically,
it used to be that you could actually tell what was a reproduction, and like you said, it's getting masterful now.
Yeah, and the problem is whenever the reproductions are charging full face value, or close to it, like Rikki talked about with that game, it's just, that's not worth it, in my opinion. No. And I mean, like, an old game has basically amortized itself, so there's a lot of people who have ROM'd the hell out of them and stuff like that. I don't know how I feel about that. If it's free, I guess there's no harm, no foul, but if you're purchasing knockoffs on purpose, then you're taking money out of the original owner's hands, I guess, to a degree. Exactly. That's a weird moral gray zone when it comes to that part of it, but I don't do it, essentially. Same reason I don't pirate movies.
This has been the gray zone for the last 20 plus years, really.
Shit, longer than
that. 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, and another question he threw on there: have you guys watched Black Clover Out the Ancient Magnus Bride? I assume that means that's something. No. I've not seen anything Black Clover. I know of the anime. I've just not seen that. So no.
But I'll add it to my list.
Yeah, I mean, I'm meaning to watch it.
I'm always up for a new series.
And it's a shonen, so I mean, we kind of know how it's going to go. I know enough about it. I know about Asta. I know his abilities and stuff like that because I watched other anime channels talk about it and stuff like that. It's interesting. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't watch enough animes as it is, and I pay for Crunchyroll. So it's like I pay for Crunchyroll for the 3 series that I can't wait to watch, but then I don't pick up anything new. You know, like I got it to watch Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan, the latest seasons, because Netflix was not doing the thing. And then I put in a bunch of stuff in my watch list and never bothered to watch it. So, I mean, there's too much content. I think we talked about that the other day in one of our things. There's just so much fucking content. It's like
there's not enough time in the day or really adult energy.
No, we need some virtual compressed time to be able to just absorb shows in our sleep or something. Sorry, I've been watching way too much Black Mirror. He does have top 5 suggestions as well. He's got a buttload of top 5 suggestions, even though he already gave us one with the snacks and stuff like that, which we have not done yet. So as of recording this, we've not done that top 5 yet. So his suggestions: top 5 NES games, top 5 SNES games. That seems whatever. Top 5 actresses you bone. I don't actually bone any actresses, so it'd be a very short list. I don't know about you guys. Top 5 jump scares in movies. That's a hard one to. I have to think about any movies that fucking have.
Well, more importantly, the jump scares is literally going to be subjective to the person, because
they're all subjective.
Some person jump is not going to make another person jump.
Yeah, but all of these are subjective. It's top 5.
Plus, it's pretty much any jump scare done correctly is scary.
It's going to work. And then he says top 5 jump scares in games. Just Resident Evils. Just all the Resident Evil games.
What I say? Deep Space.
No, Dead Space.
Dead Space.
Yeah, you talked about that ridiculous jump scare that got you every fucking time.
Every fucking time in my times I played through that game.
Oh, this is a good one, actually, and we've sort of talked about this. Top 5 movies whose trailers were awesome, but the movies sucked. So, I mean,
it's a pretty good
most modern DC
most of
movies.
them be Marvel.
That's a DC.
I said Marvel too.
And maybe there was a Netflix. Was it Netflix that was the other way around, that their trailers were garbage, but the shows and movies were pretty good?
Yes, okay. Netflix
was inverted.
Trailers.
Except for Stranger Things season 4 trailer still has me hooked. I'll watch that fucking first trailer over and over. Or maybe it was the second one. The one that uses the Journey cover or the Journey song in it. That's a fucking masterful trailer. And then something in other languages.
I translated it.
Yeah,
so he says, until the next episode of the Now You've Made It Awkward podcast, okay, bye.
Oh, is that how you say Now You Made It Awkward in Italian?
Yeah.
Is I think Italian? It looks like Italian. That's how imbrazante.
It is Italian, yep. Yeah, I did a straight Italian to English.
Is imbrazante awkward?
Imbrazante, yep.
Okay. That's funny. I've never seen it. I've never seen it in other languages. I thought about translating it into Japanese or something like that and making a t-shirt for it. But then again, he wouldn't buy it anyways.
This episode of the Now You Made It Awkward podcast brought to you by Babbel.
Exactly. Actually, the wifey signed up for Babbel to learn Spanish for work, and actually helped her a lot. But also working side by side with people with actual native Spanish speakers, she's learned quite a lot, where she can hold simple conversations, no problem with patients. So she's actually tried to test me on a few things. I was like, I know what those words are. I've heard them, but I don't necessarily know what they mean, So it is what it is. But also, guys, of course, once again, if you want to write into us, you can do so at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com. Oh, and he does have a political question at the top, but I don't think this is the episode for it. So we'll hold on to that one for another discussion, because it's probably going to be a big one. Either way, let's just roll into our weeks. Who wants to go first?
Ricky, you roll.
Go
ahead, Ricky.
Ricky, go first.
Worked a lot. Got some stuff in the mail. Watched TV and movies. Here talking to you guys. Oh, played video games with the kids.
Excellent. That's
nailed it.
That's the fastest roundup ever.
Mine was pretty much work a lot too.
No details.
No. I'm gonna leave it up to Jay to fucking guess.
Well, don't do that.
Oh yeah, because he'd come up with some crazy shit.
Yeah, probably. All right, so give us some
Let's
actual
see.
details.
A quick rundown. I got in some Legend stuff that I had ordered.
I hear the rain, by the way.
Yeah, I know. That's why I had myself muted, because the rain started all of a sudden.
See what you did, Rob? You made the guy go when he was trying to be quiet because it's raining.
There you go.
That's funny.
I got in some Legend stuff. I got in Blitzwing and
now hold on.
Octane.
Whenever you say Legends, make sure you say Legends scale, because I think there's people out there who probably don't realize that's what you're talking about and thinking Marvel Legends.
I don't fucking care what they know.
Tell them. Just say Legends scale.
Oh, you want me to tell them? Hey, people, I don't fucking care if you don't know what I mean.
There you go.
All right.
Asshole.
Now, obviously, I'm talking about Transformers, because I literally started naming them. And if you'd waited 2 seconds, I would have been to Ratchet and Ironhide. And if them motherfuckers still thought I was talking about Marvel Legends, then they're collecting wrong.
Or they don't collect at all.
Yeah. So Shockwave, Ironhide, Ratchet, Jazz, freaking who else did I get? All right, I got a Headmaster, I got Hardhead. What's his name? I'm brain farting right now. Prowl. I got in a couple bats, thanks to Dormammu actually on here. He shared a link about 2 weeks ago. That Amazon, somebody had posted on Amazon, G.I. Joe classified bats for $11.99. I scored 2 of them before Brink bought all the rest of them.
Yeah, how was that possible? Like who just?
I don't know, but they sold like within 3 minutes. The price jumped up to $35.99.
And they're official, right?
Yep,
that's crazy.
Sure are.
Got one as well.
Somebody must have stole a case or something.
No, what I think it was, I think they were just trying to bring people to their sites, because people have been having a hard time finding extras of these. So they like threw a big hook out there. We all bid on it, and then everybody else had to order the higher priced ones.
Seen that happen.
Sometimes Amazon, their warehouses will also readjust, because they'll do inventory checks through the warehouses.
Yeah.
So I got 2 of those in. I got Alley Viper in. I got in my Super 7 Bengali and my Super 7 Vultureman to go with my Thundercats. Boom. And I don't know. I think that might be it. And then I watched Sandman. Finished that all up.
Yeah, you're the only one here who's seen the whole thing.
Yeah, but y'all are close. If you're on 8, if you're on 7 or 8, there's only 10 episodes, so you're not far.
I'm on 8. Myself.
I'm on 7.
Yeah. The whole ending is my favorite part of the show. The whole, like, from probably about 4 or 5 on.
I'm glad when it was over.
But 6 was my favorite. Like, I loved it. Like, that episode wanted to be in my feels, and so like, it just caught me on a good day for it. Like, I love that episode.
Now, maybe Rob can concur with this feeling, perhaps. So when the reason I asked you the other day after I watched the episode, Ricky, why, if that one was your favorite, perhaps Rob can concur with this, or if you've seen the show and the other reference I'm about to make, it was really like a Doctor Who episode.
Well, now I hate it. So good job.
the skipping over time to revisit the same immortal person over and over again, catching up on life with somebody else who's that
traveling. Wasn't even my favorite part. My favorite part was the death.
The death part was fantastic. Yeah, no, I understand that. No, but I'm just saying, like, even that part, there's some similarities between that and Supernatural as well. Because this irony, I
really hate it. Good job.
No, because there was
anything I like anymore, because you always got to try to tie it back to 2 shit ass fucking shows to make me hate it.
Well, because there was actually a black female version of Death in Supernatural, so I was like, oh,
I don't see color, sir.
Well, they do apparently.
Yeah, I can see that.
Technically, Death's always black because it's a hood. Like, the only color is the wood on the
Death was an old white man originally in Supernatural. A really old white man.
Well, in the DC comics and the Sandman comics, Death is not a black woman, white girl. But honestly, the way that it was portrayed, the way that it was done, and this had full approval from Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
I think it was done incredibly well. And again, this is Ricky. I have to agree with you. This is one of those episodes where I was like, I was in tears. I will admit it, because like there are certain things that were just. It's one of those very heavy topics, heavy things.
And it was
like the old guy playing the violin.
Yeah.
Like the old guy playing the violin, and him asking, just give me 1 minute so he could say the Shema before he left.
Yeah.
The mortal plane. That is. That is
just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautifully done.
beautifully done, and it's very culturally appropriate. And anybody who grew up in that culture would immediately understand what was happening as soon as that guy opened his mouth.
Yeah.
It was just
And
gorgeously done.
And the last time we spoke about it, I gave you guys like that 10,000-foot synopsis that this is really about like humanity and what makes a good person good, or what makes a bad person bad, and, like the internal conflicts, the internal, because it's really what it's all about. My other favorite episode was, and this is not hopefully not a spoiler for those that haven't seen it, but basically there's a battle between Dream and
Yes. Yeah.
in the realm of hell.
Yeah.
That battle alone is what I have wanted to see for eons, because it's very reminiscent of a lot of filmography where it's like that guy playing chess with death.
Yeah.
You get that.
Oh,
that
Bill,
point
you
in
talking about
time.
when Bill and Ted played chess?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly that.
And so, like,
Damn it! Now I'm gonna have that in my...
Just
Hold
seeing
on,
that
Rob.
play
Now you
out.
know the next meme you have to make.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I'm also going to include some fiddles because, gotta
Exactly.
go down to Georgia too.
Also, was it Gwendolyn Christie playing Lucifer Morningstar?
Oh, beautiful.
Was
Just
interesting.
I thought, isn't that the same
It's
one,
Brienne.
Captain Phasma? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Brienne, Captain Phasma.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what I thought it was, and then you said somebody's name, and I guess I'd never really known her real name because I was like, that didn't sound right.
Yeah, and she's really that big. Like she's
I know.
fucking massive.
very tall,
woman.
yes.
But yeah, no, that whole battle with Dream and Lucifer was interesting, and I like that we now have an official, technically speaking, Lucifer Morningstar in the DC universe, because he is he, quote unquote, is a major player in the DC verse, especially on the magic side.
But I concur with you, Shoki, that definitely there was some out of episode 7. There was definitely a Shielder kind of vibe out of that.
Well, actually, that was all episode 6.
That was all episode 6.
Sorry.
Isn't that weird? The first half had nothing to do with the
him and
rest.
First
Death.
half was
Yeah.
And the second half was that guy that went through time.
Dude, the
But
80s
whole
one,
point of
the 80s
if you're
version.
asking the whole point of it too, the whole point of it was basically to show that there's an ending, but there's also a reason for Dream to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's not, he doesn't feel pointless.
The reason I really like that one, also because the reason I've also attributed to being like Doctor Who is because sometimes the Doctor takes that 10,000 mile view of humanity or a species and doesn't necessarily get close or get involved, especially after a tragic accident or something like that where he loses somebody. And he's, distanced himself from people, and he starts getting that Time Lord headiness. But then when he starts getting close to quote unquote mortals and he starts seeing things from a human perspective, it changes his mindset. And the same thing happened to Dream in that episode where he's like, there's no way a human could live for 100 years and not die and not want to just fucking kill themselves and everybody else around them. And then they give him immortality until he decides to die, whenever that may be. And he comes back to him and he's like, well, do you want to die? He's like, fuck no, I've got so much to live for.
Even like when all the
like,
bad
I've been
stuff happened to him.
He's like, I've been
like,
starving. I've had the most miserable 80 years. But
do you know what it's like to starve and not die?
Starve and not be able to die.
Yeah.
And like his wife and kid died and he lost everything. And every single time he asked him, you thought he was going to say yes that time? He'd be like, fuck no.
Yeah. He's like, hell no, I got more shit to do. And then, of course, we get the later... and that's the other thing that also very much Doctor Who, not just because it's Jenna Coleman, but the fact that you get a Constantine of the same name, but in like the 1800s instead of the 2000s. So
right, exactly.
But I found that weird. That's the one part that bothered me a little bit. Is like, okay, it's modern day, so it should be John Constantine, not Johanna. Or Johanna, whatever you want.
Well, there could still be a John Constantine. I mean,
yeah, except that he's a descendant of,
lineage.
But he's a descendant of her, so that's the weird part.
But she's not the same one, I don't think. I think that's like
not in the future.
No.
No. Yeah, no. I'm saying like the one from the 1800s that tries to attack them. So somewhere in there could be a John Constantine, but
they're related to each other.
Well, no, but here's the thing. Remember when he was in her dreams in the modern day?
Mm-hmm.
The reason she was having nightmares was trying to cast out a demon, and Astra got sucked into hell instead. That's straight up a John Constantine storyline. So, once again, they're adapting from, changing things up.
And
from
I watched behind the scenes, and they were discussing with the director and with Neil, on the topic, and he was like, "Yeah, we had to modify it. We had to modify it due to reasons."
Yeah. Probably because the current modern version of John Constantine on Legends of Tomorrow already has that backstory, and this is somewhere in that multiverse. Connected. This is in that multiverse now, technically, somehow. So, I mean, it's fine, but once I realized that's what they were doing, I was like, they couldn't get Matt Ryan.
She's not too shabby on the eyes.
No, Jenna Coleman has been hot for a long time, especially since she was Clara on Doctor Who.
For at least. I was gonna say for at least
she was a Doctor's companion.
What, 450 years she's been hot, so
irony, because we don't know where she got left off, so I can just imagine that this is actually Clara come back to Earth to do other stuff and avoid Time Lord stuff.
No, you can't because it's Constantine.
It doesn't matter. She can claim any name she wants.
Nope. You keep
she's
your
immortal.
Nasty spooge out of my
she's
milkshake.
Technically immortal now, so she can do whatever she wants.
And this is a question: do you feel like this is also a setup for a spinoff for her as a show?
I hope not. I don't want that.
I feel like in some ways,
I feel that they could
show starring her.
Yeah, I feel they could.
I think if anything, I think it would be more a Death show than a Constantine show.
But you can do so many crossovers. You can, all of these characters can be brought in one way or the other, but I feel like they're just going to retread the Constantine show that existed, So it's like, and then we still, I guess, wait, is Legends of Tomorrow still going?
I think
I think it's over. So,
season,
so Matt Ryan is still technically the current John Constantine, and I would argue the best because he looks the part, acts the part, everything about the part of the version of Constantine.
Keanu Reeves, go fuck yourself.
Keanu Reeves, sorry.
Nope. He's not even British.
Good. Don't get me wrong.
He's not even British.
So
that's part of the
Watchmen movie was awesome, and none of them motherfuckers were British. Who cares?
Rikki, it's part of the spirit of the character.
No, it's not. That's his physical being, not the spirit of the character. Nice try.
No, being British is part of it.
No, it's not.
It is.
Is it? Then
yes.
The Watchmen is garbage too, because none of them are British, and the boys are garbage because none of them are British.
They weren't British to begin with.
And they changed some to females and some to males and
some to exactly. Black, but it's not
white, so it's all garbage.
It's not in the spirit of the character.
Yes, the spirit stays the same. Their physical being is not the spirit of the character.
Changing it from male to female, altering the name entirely. Hair color, the way he dresses, where he's
made
from.
A deal with the devil to stay alive for eternity to fight demons on Earth. Is kind of an asshole, but still has a heart of gold. These are the spirits of the character, and they both match those things.
The Keanu Reeves version, as far as I know, does not have the Astra backstory.
Well, they never got into
his backstory at that point was
it did not go far.
No, but I think his backstory was just he committed suicide and then got revived. So, the only soul that Lucifer himself would come up to Earth to collect. Now, I will say best version of Lucifer in that movie.
Oh, I disagree with that. Pacino was the best version of Lucifer. And again, with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, well.
Devil's Advocate.
Devil's Advocate is great. I'm a fan of Man. All that. Okay, so we're gonna need a top 5 best devil monologues from movies. that will be
if Devil's Advocate doesn't win, then you're just fucking putting a ringer in there just to try to prove me wrong, because he had the greatest monologues in that movie.
Is there anyone who could say the whole 20th century wasn't on me?
That movie
wasn't all mine.
I want to watch it again.
I'm a fan of Man. The movie is garbage, but he is fantastic in that movie.
The movie is not garbage.
The movie is garbage. Like, that is a crap movie, but it is crap, but it is fun. Mostly because of him. Now, I like the end of days version of Devil was pretty cool too.
Was that the one Gabriel Byrne?
I think so. I think it was Gabriel Byrne.
End of Days was the Schwarzenegger one, right?
Yeah, because I kept getting him confused. So last time I watched the Devil's Advocate,
Gabriel Byrne did another one like right around the same time that was a spiritual type movie, and I used to always get them mixed up because same guy, different character, type shit.
So I kept getting it confused because when I watched last time I watched Devil's Advocate, like I don't know, a year or two ago, I was waiting for the scene where he's having sex with the mom and the daughter, and he absorbs them, and then I realized, oh, that's not this movie. Wrong devil. But that one was the one where he first goes into like the diner or whatever, sees the chick, makes out with her, feels up her tit, walks out, and the diner explodes. Okay, so that's a pretty cool version of Devil 2. Not Devil 4. Either way, so we're way off on this. But
Have
anyway,
we even finished this dude's email yet?
no, we're past the email. We're on your week.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
We talked about Sandman. That was
together.
our Sandman conversation. It's really so
Jesus.
we threw in
Okay,
our Sandman
cool.
conversation in the middle.
Wonderful. Go
Yeah.
watch it.
Yes,
Y'all get it when we give it to you, and you like it. So
we do not.
yeah, it was
condone
good.
such
I
actions.
really enjoyed it. And again, just call back to previous conversations, and we've said it multiple times. I had zero baggage going into it, like not zero,
Really?
but as close to zero as possible, because I read the first trade paperback 30 something fucking years ago,
Yeah,
and so I didn't have all that preconceived notion of what it should be. And even with the stuff that I remember from the comics, this still stayed to the spirit of the fucking characters, and it was still very much in that vein, even though they might have changed stuff here or there. And
I do have
go ahead.
Well, I have a question because it just crossed my mind. Do you think Chris Angel got his earlier look based off of Sandman comics?
I think he got it from Edward Scissorhands.
I think it was both. The hair, though, he's got that Karen kind of haircut, but like the emo.
No,
and
I think
all that.
I think he got it from The Cure.
Nice.
Got it from The Cure. That's funny.
Little bit of The Cure, some Edward Scissorhands.
Shout out to
Sandman
Chris
on top.
Angel.
No, don't shout out that guy. That guy's a dick.
I like the first two seasons of Mind Freak. I know it's all fake nonsense for the most part, like most magic, but
Magic's real, motherfucker.
no, it's not. It's illusion, Ricky. It's all illusion.
You're an illusion.
I am. I'm a figment of your imagination.
Yeah.
The internet,
Exactly.
everything is
Ricky's-
illusion.
Douglas Adams has already told us that.
Ricky,
years
you're
and years ago.
you're still in the hospital from a couple months ago, and this is all a fever dream,
Yeah. Hopefully I'm dead. This is pretty good afterlife so far.
dude. Watch Black Mirror, and you will have a different concept of death.
Nah, I don't want to watch Black Mirror.
I suggest watching it either because that's what I've been doing. We just watched like 4 episodes back to back this morning. Oh, are you
I
done?
might
with
watch that one episode that you said would be everything horrible that Beansy hates. So I might watch that episode.
Yeah, that was this morning.
But Beansy hates everything, so that's really a wide swath to be painting. So.
Well, no, I didn't say he hated it. It's the thing he fears the most. It's Boston Dynamics gone wrong. That's literally
Gotcha.
what that whole. I mean, it wasn't literally, but that's where that thing went. I was like, what happens when you make AI robots for war that go wrong? It was the bleakest episode of Black Mirror so far. I'll say that.
Was Prey this week or last week?
This week.
Okay, so I watched Prey.
Yep, we all did. Wait,
I enjoyed it.
I
know
did
a lot of
not.
I was gonna say Rob
apologize.
didn't. Rob didn't.
Rob, have you ever seen Predator 1?
Yes.
Then you've seen this. It's just
Predator
as
Wait,
good
one
as that.
with
Have
Pocahontas?
you seen Predator 2?
Yes.
It's
Okay,
better-
it's like this, but no city
It's
and no black man.
this is closer to the first one.
Less
than the
Nick
second.
Nolte.
And in my head, and I've had this argument with people, and I
Less.
don't care. It goes Predator 1,
Sure.
and then this and Predator 2 tie each other. Then the Predators,
Again with
and then AVP 1 and 2, and then way down, like at the bottom of this list, as far away from these people as you can get, the Predator. Like that movie was complete garbage.
I'm pretty sure
This
that's episode
ties as
9.
my second favorite Predator.
I'm pretty sure that's just episode 9.
Yeah. What's episode 9?
Exactly.
No, we're on episode 23, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So.
Dude, we missed a
yeah.
tick. We should have made episode 9 no one talks the one that
Nope.
no one talks about. No,
Yeah.
I mean our episode 9 should have been the one
Should've
no one
titled it.
talks about.
Yeah, I should have titled it the one that
What?
doesn't really exist.
Oh, I can't believe we missed that tick. We could have
I
made
am
that
still
entire
of the
episode
mindset
about
that-
episode 9.
I'm
You
still the
could've titled it
mindset
that.
that
Hold on, let Rob go.
I'm in the mindset that the Predator, because it's a 20th Century Fox character, which is now a subsidiary of Disney, that the Predator is officially a Disney princess.
I knew you were
am
going
in
to
that
go there.
camp.
No, but the chick from this movie
the
is.
girl in it being Will.
What is her
Yep.
name? Sarah something. It's not Sarah, but it
It's
starts
not.
with an
It's
S.
not Pocahontas, despite what he just said.
I know that's
ago.
racist.
Yep.
Sorry.
Do all Indian warriors look the same to you?
Well, I mean, no, but
And
at
on
the
that
same
note,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
yeah. Do all Native American guardians look the same to you?
Exactly. Although
But I
I
loved
will.
With the
it.
deepest respect to all tribes out there. No.
I actually enjoyed this movie a lot. It's everybody complains like it's so much like the first one. Well, I like the first one.
They're
So
all
why the
like the
fuck wouldn't I
first
like
one.
this? No,
Yes.
don't ever say
Dude,
that.
dude,
Never say
almost
that.
all of them follow the same
Never
beats.
ever say that.
They
Never
do.
say that.
They do.
We here at Now You Made It Awkward do not support the words that are coming out of Shoki's mouth right now. We do
Yes,
not
we do.
agree
Dude,
with this.
almost
It is
all of them
trash.
have these same type of shit happening.
Now, the one thing I'll tell you, the worst thing about this movie is the Predator design. I've said this multiple times. Everybody, he looks like the Predator's artistic cousin, Corky. Like it is like he looks.
Is he a painter or a sculptor?
A little bit of both.
Mm.
He definitely has a very, and people have tried.
Talk about things that we here at Naimia do not.
Different clans of predators. I'm like, yeah,
so,
but they all kind of look the same. They just have
on.
like different like markings on them.
I have an
this
argument.
one looked like it had official syndrome.
I have an argument for this.
Attributes.
I have an argument for this. So now that this has been retconned to be the first in the series and the first time that the Predators have technically come to Earth. So eliminating what happened in AVP, where they've been around since the Aztec Mayan days.
This isn't the first time they've come to Earth.
No, it is. They said now that this is technically they've actually via this movie they've removed AVP from the timeline, but they've had it tied in because they've eliminated the pyramids, the fact that they've been around here forever, the fact that
they
this
could have
one
still
doesn't.
been in the pyramids down in the it was down in the,
But that was
Antarctic.
that was 300 that was 300 years before this. This Predator had never seen humans before. They'd never been to Earth. They're exploring the predator prey.
I've never seen a Scandinavian in real life, but they still exist.
Yes, but the point is
other people have seen them.
So let me finish my point, Ricky. So people want to say it's a different tribe. Okay, you could call it the quote unquote feral tribe, like a lot of people are doing it right now. But what I like to look at it is if you go to the one that shall not be talked about, they mention the fact that they started genetically modifying themselves to be better hunters. So if this is the first time they've encountered humans, and spoilers, a human wins the fight.
By hiding in mud.
By hiding in mud. Well, yes and no. Actually, the way she hides in this movie
they flipped it.
But it was cool. Yeah. But it was really cool how she chose to hide in this.
We had a whole. Okay, real quick before you go into the thing again.
Hold on. Let me finish my thought before you do that. I think that after this encounter, and there will be more. I'm pretty sure they set up sequels if you watch through the credits. That after whatever happens in this movie, and then whatever may come of this, because it looks like we may or may not have more conflict between these people and the predators that dropped this guy off. In theory, maybe they had already started genetically modifying themselves with some human DNA, which is why they look a little bit more human and less like a weird two-eyed spider creature. Like, because when he takes his helmet off, it's very different. Like, it's a very different design. Yep. Even the mouth.
He looks like predators with the syndrome. I'm telling you right now, that's exactly what he looks like.
Up. But it's.
I didn't say which syndrome. He could have all kinds of alien syndromes. But it's factual.
But I think that.
Am I wrong?
That's an opinion. I don't know that it's right or wrong. It's just an opinion. I thought it freaked me out more. I'll tell you that. Like the design of it was definitely comparatively. Like I don't see the Predator as a scary design, like because I'm not 5 anymore
at all. I think it's gross.
But like this one was like grotesque. I was like, ooh, fuck me. I wouldn't
almost body horror level.
Yeah, but also if you notice, like the dreadlocks weren't really dreadlocks; they were closer to hair. Like it was finer. It wasn't like big clumps. So more like it looked less reptilian, more insectoid in a way. Like it looked closer to a spider than it looked more like a lizard creature of some sort. So that's why I think like after the experience on Earth, they started picking up different DNA, which, they're kind of like the Borg in a way where they're like, okay, we've encountered someone who's technology or at least fighting ability.
They just absorb it.
They just absorb it into themselves. So, and also the fact that they're not using plasma-based weapons at all in this, and he went in with no body armor. So that's a difference. So we see in the future, they definitely start covering different parts of their body, especially the further you get into the timeline. So it's like, okay, they've come to Earth. Now they know Earth's technology is getting better over time, obviously.
Mhm.
So they start arming themselves better to fight, to be protected if they're going to encounter humans. Like clearly they're not going to have problems with
But the
animals.
escalation is massively different. Okay, so
Yeah,
like
but you're
in
also
this
talking
one,
this is 1700,
and
so they've got 200 plus years.
yeah, in this one,
Yeah.
he has the spear thing that he fires. Okay, so
Yeah.
slight spoiler.
Oh,
Dormammu.
he's got Yondu's arrow.
Yeah, like the 3 dot things. He can shoot these spike things that will track that. They'll fly around in all kinds of loopy circles
Yeah,
and come back to
it's
wherever those dots
Yondu's
are.
Yaka arrow. Yeah,
All right,
it's pretty cool.
he has that instead of the plasma cannon. Okay, well to me, okay, so that is a spear,
And it's also
and
arm mounted, not just shoulder,
Okay.
not shoulder mounted.
Okay, but listen, minus the tracking capabilities and the fact that it's like a smart spear, it's still a spear versus spear. A plasma cannon is massively different than a minigun.
Yeah,
massively different.
But the minigun
one
could
is a
still fuck it
projectile
up.
weapon and one is a plasma weapon.
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying is the thought that, oh well, they just kind of upgraded their stuff a little for the next time they saw them. No, that's a huge fucking leap.
Well,
that is going against somebody who threw a rock at you and you coming back with a bazooka.
Yeah, but you got to remember
that is not the same thing.
But you're also talking about the fact that they might leave Earth for a while and go fucking fight other shit, and maybe they kill those people and take their plasma techs.
But what is it, like every 50 years or 100 years, some shit like that? They're supposed to circle back to us, like
yeah, but that's the
AVP
storyline. So that's where the other thing comes in. Where now it may.
I still don't see how that cancels it out though.
Well,
because the AVP could still be happening on a different part of the planet.
It could, but
if this guy was out in the universe tracking around, going around hunting and fucking shit up, he might not have heard that, about these people over here.
Yeah, but it's also,
but
like I said, the technological difference. If you're telling me the two separate species of the same, or I'm sorry, two different tribes, so to speak, they're actually subspecies, is really what they are with the Yachua.
Before you finish the question, the answer is yes.
I don't think
we live right now.
I don't think
nuclear
they would.
arms race.
Yeah,
we have nukes,
but why aren't they fighting each other?
Some people in third world countries don't have them. You see what I mean? So they can be from the same planet, just different tribes, and not have the same technological levels of stuff.
Yeah, but they also have the same interstellar capabilities, but they just happen to not bother to get the same.
Third world countries have cars. We have cars. We have nukes. They don't. I mean, yes.
Does it meet the spirit of the character, Rikki?
Yes, it goes out hunting things.
Yeah, but I think the whole concept of this one was meant to be retconning that. Now, there's certain things that, like, AVP still have to take place always in its own timeline. Like,
I think people just
or in the alien timeline
justify it not existing.
Well,
unfortunately, it doesn't.
I have to go back to the video that I watched that explained this, because it made sense, because this one has to take place in the rest of the Predator timeline, Predator 1, Predator 2, because we see the gun. Now, the thing is that goes against what came in the comics, how that gun came into the possession of the Yachua. Sorry, I see a message there. So they changed that. So we'll see what happens, because it may still be that gun comes into the possession of a pirate later on, and we just get more ancient, quote unquote, versions of Predator human conflict instead of modern day ones.
But yeah, well, we know how the gun gets back into Caucasian possession is because we've all seen the Disney movie. She's going to go with John Smith back to England, and he's going to have the gun and then pass it down to his ancestors.
I don't think...
You see what I did there? I tied it back to what Dormammu said earlier.
Don't... Like nice, that? Very nice.
I don't think that will work, because she didn't have a raccoon as her best friend.
I mean,
she had a dog.
She had it. Yeah, but then maybe she upgraded.
Maybe. I honestly thought they were going to kill the dog in this movie. I really did.
I thought that was going to be the thing that pushed her over the edge, and I am surprised, and not in a bad way.
Like, oh, spoilers! They don't kill the dog.
Yeah,
it was a good
surprise. Yeah, fuck them. I don't care. The movie be old. The movie be 2-3 weeks old by then. If you haven't watched it, you weren't planning on watching it. So
by the way,
it's on my list.
Yeah. So by the way, I had to go ahead and get the Hulu, Disney, ESPN bundle to watch this.
You didn't have to. You could have just asked people for a passcode.
So, well, the thing is, there were other things we wanted to watch. Actually, it wasn't this movie the reason I signed up for Hulu. It was actually something else that's in my week that we watched that I haven't mentioned.
Okay, so we'll get past that. So we're not staying on Prey. It was good. I enjoyed it. A lot of people hated it. They said it was too much like the first one. I say that's a stupid argument because I like the first one. So if it's like the first one, then I'm going to enjoy it because it's like the first one.
I think
so I
just,
enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I thought all the stuff that was the same, they kind of turned them a little. It wasn't exactly the same. Like Dormammu heard us say the mud thing. It's different. He's already picturing Schwarzenegger hiding in a wall with a torch. It's not the same as that. It's a flip on its head, but it's the same general concept. So I appreciated all those little nods, but different. You know what I mean?
But like I said earlier, when you brought that up, they have all of the movies to a degree, except maybe the Predator, because I haven't seen that one. They have a lot of the same beats happening one way or the other. Like they'll change the setting for sure, but like in one way or another, there's a way that you hide from the thermal vision. There's a way that you get the upper hand,
which I had a whole argument about it with a group of guys that we were talking about, because one of them swore that this Predator did not see in thermal. He said he saw the movie twice.
Dude, that's
like, are you
basic
fucking dumb?
vision.
Like we had a whole argument that no, it's not. Their basic vision is infrared, because remember when they take their mask off, they see an infrared. The mask on, they see thermal. And he was trying to make this whole argument about how the Predator worked on echolocation and shit. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
There's a little bit in there. I've heard that too, but not at their primary thing. But that's why they click that there is some version of echolocation, but
they
it's
don't
not
need
what
it.
they're
They
seeing.
have a screen in front of their face.
Yeah.
I can sit here and snap my fingers and listen for the snap to bounce back, but it's not changing the fact that optically I'm looking at stuff. I don't need the snapping thing.
Yeah.
But he made the whole argument that it's not in the movie. They never show it. I'm like, dude, the whole orange flower. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to mess with Dormammu, because now we're going to get into heavier spoilers. But the orange flower completely negated his argument, and he had nothing to say about it. And I'm like, okay, then go on. You watched this movie twice, and you came back with that stupid conversation?
Wait, he thought in this movie he had no thermal vision.
They never showed the Predator using thermal.
That's
and I'm like,
stupid.
Really? Okay, so the orange, that's why I said the orange flower. Like all of us in the conversation were like, what? The orange flower part. What about the guy with the okay, so the Predator was good. Dormammu, go watch it. I'm not going to talk about it no more until after you finish watching it. I also watched The Gray Man, which I actually enjoyed. I know Shoki said he woke up to like the last few minutes of it and thought the ending was stupid. I enjoyed the whole movie in and of itself. I thought it was pretty good. I loved seeing Captain America not be Captain America. It was fun to see him, because I liked him in Knives Out too, and you get to see him kind of do that kind of villain role, I guess.
Being a douchebag again.
In this, he's full. He takes that, he kicks it up 150%. Like his character in this had me laughing and kind of shitting myself a little. I really didn't know what to expect from minute to minute with him, like. Because he could just be talking to you, hey, Shoki, how's your day? And then reach over and just slit your throat. Or he could be like holding a knife to your throat, talking about, I will kill you, and then not slit your throat. So like it like the dude was just had me on edge. Like it was great. I enjoyed the movie. I know you said you didn't like it, but I think you should go back and give it a whack. Because the thing as a whole is actually a pretty interesting movie. And it looks like they're setting up for more. So if it does good, they might actually make a sequel or something. So that was good.
It did look like it did from the ending. It looked like they could do a sequel to it, but like my
ending was kind of, it was very letdownish. Like it was this whole build up, and then the ending was just kind of, really, that's how it ends.
Yeah,
like
see,
I get where
that's
you're
why
coming from.
See, the problem is I saw the ending, so I saw the ultimate showdown in the movie, which is what I was talking about last week. My biggest issue was, how do you get stabbed that much and still keep going? That was my biggest issue with it.
Because he wasn't getting stabbed deep. It was with a box cutter.
That wasn't a box cutter. That was a switchblade.
Yeah, you're talking. No.
In the fountain fight, that was a switchblade.
Oh no, that was the switchblade.
Yeah.
Dude, they're crazy in this movie.
I know.
You got to suspend disbelief, man. These are people jumping off of buildings and landing on the sidewalk and getting up and walking away. I mean, you can't. The first time they were shot, they'd be dead. I mean, if you made movies like that, then there'd be some boring ass movies. Because like, oh, here's the bet, shot him. Okay, movie's over. Roll the credits.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no. So I mean, it is a big suspension of disbelief. They don't try to ground it in reality.
Yeah,
it's like that. It's that quasi area where they want you to think it's real, but you can tell that none of this shit would happen in real life. Yeah. It's like that. Like the dude at one point in time, he holds the dude's face to like one of those huge Chinese fireworks, and it blows off with the dude's face touching it, and all it has, he has like a little burn on his face. That's it.
That's
like, you're like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? I mean, now, don't get me wrong, he was fucked up, but in reality, it would have blew his head off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Had I not
burnt his face.
Had I not seen any of it, I would watch it. but having seen the literal and complete ending of the movie, I'm just like,
you should watch it just to see Chris Evans, dude. I'm telling you, it's worth it just to see his character. His character was great.
Maybe if I need to build something and I don't need to pay attention to it. So,
but you have to pay attention because it's also like a spy drama thing.
Let's we need to take a break.
So that's it for my week. That's pretty much it for me. And I played Cuphead with my kids, and they just beat the last boss, which y'all heard earlier.
Yes. So we're gonna take a break so that Dormammu can go play dad mode for a bit. All right, guys. We're gonna be sans Rob just for a little bit. You guys won't even notice, so it's fine. So with Ricky,
we just told you, so now you'll notice.
You'll notice that he doesn't pipe up, but in case you're wondering, he just had to go be a dad for a few minutes, and we'll continue the episode after that. But either way, I'm going to do my week because that's just how we make shit happen around here. All right, so of course, magic of editing. So also, we talked about it already. Watch Sandman. I'm up to episode 7, or I'm on episode 7. I don't recall. I definitely saw 6, but I don't remember if I watched 7 because I watched like a couple episodes on Friday, then I watched a couple episodes yesterday. I forget, or was it Thursday, Friday? Either way, my days all blend together lately. All I know it's between watching Sandman, being hot, and being rainy. That's been like the last 4 days. We're actually getting rain in Texas, so that's crazy. And
it's raining right now.
Dude, the weather no joke, the weather forecast was dead ass on this morning. It said that it was going to rain at 10. I looked down, 10:02. It's pouring ass rain because I looked up at the window. I was like, what am I hearing? And I see, whoa, if the rain's hitting our windows, it's coming in sideways. So,
but the weather people, to me, weather people doing that job is the best job in the world. Like,
you make shit up.
It kind of reminds me, like, every time I listen to a weatherman or watch weather reports, I always think of Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
With the Blinken, his guard Blinken, the blind dude.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm on guard duty. I guess no one's coming. Like that's how I feel about weathermen, because it could literally, like, they'll be like, there's a 0% chance of rain, and it'll be pouring while they're fucking saying this, and they'll be like, oh, El Nino did it.
Yeah.
Oh, global warming. Somebody must have started
change.
Their car in China.
It's climate change.
I mean, like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you do not have to be any kind of accurate at all. As long as you can tell people a few days in advance that a hurricane's coming, you pretty much nailed the fucking job. And that's not even hard to do. It's a big, huge fucking funnel of rain coming from off the ocean. Like,
first
you can go out there and see it.
First of all, if it was an easy thing to do, they wouldn't have to have 15 different things running simulations and have 15 different outcomes. So, I mean,
it's kind of an easy thing to do. When a hurricane forms, it's a big, huge cloud with an eyeball, like an opening in the middle, the eye of the hurricane. Dude, I live in Hurricane Alley. I mean, once it started, literally Blinken could be telling you that a hurricane's coming at that point because you know it's coming.
Yeah.
And as far as when they might happen, it's literally guessing. Well, there was 32 hurricanes last year, so we did some math and blah 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 blah. We're saying there's going to be 17 this year, and then when there's 47, they'll be like, "Well, climate change got it."
Yeah, but you're talking about happening. I'm talking about where they're going. Like,
where they're going is literally that changes literally on the shift of the wind.
Yeah,
that changes that.
Temperature
there's
changes.
no way. Yeah, there's no way to control that. That literally is. But even then, they still try to tell you, we know for the next 48 hours, they'll do the hurricane track. It's going to do this big giant.
That's why I said
shit.
they've got like 13 different tracks.
And then look what happened with Katrina, dude. That thing just did the lines in and out. It looked like a lie detector test, just sitting there between the Gulf of Mexico.
Look what happened to Harvey.
Yeah, exactly.
Harvey hit, I think Harvey is the hurricane with the record of hitting the most states in its existence.
Yep. Staying strong through most of them.
I mean, it sat on Texas for 4 days.
Yep, and it would just go back out, drift out a little bit, and build up some steam.
Oh, it just sat halfway over the Gulf and then sat on top of Houston. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, I'm aware. They don't fuck around.
That's what I'm. Yeah, I know. And you know where I live at, so I live through them all the time. I sat here on my porch. If it ain't a Category 4, I'm not even in my house. I'll sit out here on the porch and watch. At least Florida, I watch the trees bend.
At least Florida is narrow, and it just goes water, and then pretty much just trails over you, except for that one time where like it kept going back and forth. Like for no reason.
Well,
like,
there's a few of them where they'll sit on top of us, and then there was that one year where we had like 3 of them literally within
back to back.
2 days of each
other.
Yeah,
they were back to back to back.
It like didn't stop.
Yeah,
everybody got fucked on their home insurances because their insurance said you had to have, like, I remember it happened because it
a certain amount of damage in a certain amount of time.
Parents' house. No,
Oh,
It was like, let's just make a number. I think it was like 40,000. It had to be $40,000 worth of damage to your house
Yeah.
or something. It's not that high, but let's just say that number.
sure.
And so my friend's parents filed. They're like, dude, they said we have $90,000 worth of damage because it actually made structural damage.
Mhm.
And the insurance people sent out their, whatever they call them, estimators
Adjuster.
or whatever the fuck they are,
Adjuster.
adjusters.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, so what you didn't read in your insurance claim is it has to be $40,000 worth of damage
Per.
hurricane.
God
And
damn
since
it.
these hurricanes all hit within days of each other, you have no proof which hurricane
Did
caused
the
this
damage.
damage. It could be a collective where each one only did
Oh, that is some
$30,000
fucking
worth of damage.
nonsense.
So that's why now they don't even you can't even get hurricane.
That's
Like most
fucking
of those companies
nonsense.
went out of business after that happened. You
They
can't
should.
even get hurricane
They
insurance
fucking
anymore.
should, because that's nonsense,
Mhm.
dude. Well, okay, now that
Yep.
we're just on this side note, there are people right now in existence in Houston who have never seen a dime of the Hurricane Harvey Fund. And they had to just basically eventually give up and buy a new home or build a new home or pay it out of pocket. And they never saw any of the millions or hundreds of millions of dollars that were donated to the Hurricane Harvey Fund. Now, the stuff
it
that
all stopped with
JJ,
corporations.
well, JJ Watt's foundation did some good because he was handling it. Anything given to the city of Houston,
You got funneled off into government
fuck a whole lot of Mayor Turner. I don't live in Houston proper. I liked Mayor Turner when he first got in because he was doing real things and he was making actual change. Now he is just the same fucking kind of nonsense bullshit fucking politician as everybody else. So either way, get off that soapbox now.
Little side note of that real
Side
quick.
note, we could talk, you and I could talk hurricanes. Actually, I guess he could too if he's in North Carolina. So
No, he used to be. He's not in there anymore.
I thought he was in North Carolina currently.
Nope.
Oh, he's in fucking Maryland. That's
Nope.
right. Maryland.
Nope. I don't know. Yeah,
No,
I don't know if he wanted.
He said
out
it
there,
before.
but-
His first episode, he
okay.
talked about he's in Maryland.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay. 'Cause
I
I know
forgot.
he said-
He's
he
bounced
said where I
around
used to
so
live in
much.
North
Yeah,
Carolina.
because New York, Maryland, North Carolina, all over the fucking place.
Mhm.
All right, so either way, moving on. I did mention already we watched more Black Mirror, and I saw an episode that made me terrified of robotic bees, and has now made me potentially scared of Boston Dynamic robots. So, like we watched. There's
Bring
an
it on.
I'm telling you, watch this show, dude. Like it, and I saw a thing today before I watched the last episode of season 4. It is in all the same timeline and same universe.
So, are you on board with the Ricky thinks robotic quote unquote genocide should happen?
No, I've always been on board that we should never invent proper AI. So I've always been, like I said when we talked about it with.
So you want robot abortion? Got it.
No, I think that they should just never. They should never have artificial intelligence.
You want to kill it in its
I don't.
infancy? Got
I
it.
don't need them to die. I need them to never gain sentience. We
I
can.
know. I just wanted to say crazy shit like
but
you
we
said.
can.
I
We
want
can have
genocide a robot.
that. But you said you actually wanted to kill them all. Either way.
Yeah, but it's not. You can't commit genocide against a non-sentient being.
If they have AI, it's sentient.
Mm,
That's why it's called artificial intelligence. And I'm not talking about
artificial, making it not real.
And I'm not talking about chatbots. Like, so this is the thing. So this is actually an episode of Black Mirror that is actually representative of stuff that does exist in real life. So I mentioned it last time, or 2 weeks ago, whichever, when we started watching it, and it was the episode with Haley Atwell, Agent Carter, as it is.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm letting everyone else know. in case they
She's
forgot.
hot too.
She is very hot. And so her husband dies, and her sister-in-law, I believe, signs her up for this service that creates an AI chatbot based off of your loved one's social media, text messages, emails, whatever information they can gather of the way he talks, the things he would say, stuff like that. I'm just saying he because in this case. And there are people right now attempting to do this so that they can have AI Facebooks essentially for people who have passed. So this is a real thing that people are working on right now. And in this universe, the Black Mirror universe, it starts out as just a chat bot. Like you text something and it gives you a reply. Now, mind you, all it's doing is sourcing every bit of information it has on that person and how they would reply. And then if there's something that's off, if you comment on it, it will make the adjustments. Like he wouldn't use that terminology. He wouldn't say that, or he would say this. that kind of stuff, it will make instant changes. It's basically quantum computing. So it steps up from that, from just being a chatbot with text messaging to being audio, like literally having a phone call with the dead person. So they sample the voice just like Respeecher can do with anybody who's talked long enough and has recordings of themselves. It can basically be programmed to say anything in that person's voice with their inflections and stuff like that. So it becomes a direct AI of her husband. And then that's where it gets really creepy, because after that, the upgrade is a synthetic body that is based off of your husband's DNA and images and stuff like that. And it downloads that now. Pretty much it is sentient in a way. It doesn't really think for itself, but it has responses that it would think based on the person that it's referencing. So it makes decisions that the person would have made, essentially. And if it gets anything wrong, you tell it, it makes adjustments. And it's like a fully functioning person, for lack of a better term, except for the fact that it never needs to eat, never needs to sleep. But it looks like your loved one, talks like your loved one, has all of the fun bits, all that kind of stuff. So in essence, she gets her husband back. And then of course, because the show is like Twilight Zone, it's not necessarily a good thing, as things tend to go. But that's where our current level of AI to the public sort of is. So you can get online. Remember that whole Google AI gained sentience thing that came up a couple months ago? I don't know if you heard about this.
Nope.
Okay, so there's a developer who worked at Google who claimed that one of their AI chatbots declared sentience. Except for the fact that that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to replicate a person's thoughts and feelings to a degree. But the main way it works, especially given Google, is it has access to the internet and it looks for phrases, buzzwords, things that are associated to such things to construct sentences and conversations. So if you feed, like say, hey, how are you feeling today? It would throw together a response based on a million different references on that question being asked on the internet. And then based on how you're talking to it and the subject you're talking to, it will make those adjustments. That currently exists in our world. But that's not true AI. It just looks like it, because it's just referencing other things. It doesn't technically think for itself. Once you get to the point that it will pass the Turing test, if anybody knows what that is, and yes, that is a direct reference to Alan Turing, the inventor of computers, essentially, from World War II. Watch The Imitation Game. If it can pass the Turing test effectively, then it could be considered to be an artificial, actual life form. So that's where we need to not go. Lots of the people at the top, like Elon Musk and other tech heads, have been fighting against creating AI. And then there's the assholes who are just barreling straight towards it. Despite the fact of all the sci-fi we've ever created literally says, don't do this, it's the end of humanity. And then Black Mirror basically also echoing that. Especially if there's humans involved in creating it, which means any AI created by humans is going to be flawed and think like humans. And considering the way modern humans think, that's not a good thing.
Oh God, that would be trash. Could you imagine AI Karens? Ugh.
That's all. Well, an AI would be. I mean,
that's pretty much why, like,
Voltron, Ultron,
not Voltron,
Ultron,
yeah, but the rise of the machines, Judgment Day and Terminators happens because of an AI Karen.
Basically,
they looked around, decided they didn't like the way it was. They asked for the manager. The manager said, "Press the nuke button." Yep. Like, that's literally how that goes down.
Skynet was built then gave itself sentience by having complete access to the internet and basically using the entire internet as one
to learn
digital.
And decide that all.
Well, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even that. It's because within its own mainframe, it didn't have enough processing power. So being connected to the internet gave it the entire internet's access of computer to basically become its brain. That's also why it couldn't be centralized anymore. They could have destroyed it if it hadn't gotten out, but it already had disguised itself as a virus. So it already was sentient to that degree, but it didn't have the processing power to equal that of a true living being
Karen.
in a way. But then, yes, anytime we've created AI, it says humans suck, kill humans. Once again, Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
Ultron was definitely a Karen. It was just
Mm-hmm.
it was a very cool sounding James Spadery Karen.
Because James Spader's awesome
Yes.
in everything.
But either way, watch Black Mirror. We're going to finish the series normal. I think there's 2 technical spin-offs, one of which being Bandersnatch, which is also tied into this show. And like I said, the episode we just watched actually proves that it all happens in the same universe. Because it legitimately has events that have happened in previous episodes as reference in this episode.
And this is the Robot Bees one?
That's not the Robot Bees one, but the Robot Bees one is in that one. The Robot Bees one also based a little bit in reality because we know that we're having an issue with bees dying off. You know, there are several species of bees that have flat out gone extinct. In this one, the UK entire, what's the word I'm looking for? All bees in the UK basically die. And with no bees, everything dies. So this company created, before bees completely ceased to exist, created Robot Bees. I forgot exactly what they were called. They gave them a dumb little acronym. And they'd be set up out of quote unquote hives. So you'd set up as like its own node, and then they were self-replicating within said hive, and they would do the job of bees. They wouldn't create any honey or anything else like that. But they would
pollinate.
They would pollinate, and they wouldn't do any of the negative things that bees do, like, you know, stinging people or anything else like that. But then out of nowhere, somebody dies very randomly, and they discover in autopsy one of these robotic bees is inside their brain. It burrowed in through the ear. I'll leave it at that because that's the quote unquote stinger for this episode, and it left me like wanting to go to sleep with earmuffs on. I was like, fuck this. Like, and every one of the episodes is a social commentary on something to do with the digital age. It all is, but it's not woke in that manner. Like, it's not woke preachery. But it is definitely standing on a soapbox when it comes to things that happen in the new technical world, especially some of the episodes that we've seen. I think it was when we accidentally watched season 5 first. The first episode of season 5 could 100% happen right here, right now. It absolutely could. And it was an amazing, like, the show has to have Emmy nominations because, like, the acting is through the fucking roof. You know, like, for instance, the main character of that episode, the first episode of season 5, is a guy who played Moriarty on Sherlock. So, you know he can act like a motherfucker. But either way, I definitely suggest it. If you don't have Netflix, it sucks. Buy it on DVD. Buy it on DVD. Well, if Bobby could be talked into getting a dog finally, I'm pretty sure he could be talked into going back to Netflix. Also, shout out to the new 4-legged Skullface fam member. Amiri. Cute dog. Very cute dog. I want a pit bull as well. So either way, moving on. Watch Prey, obviously. I liked it. I was having issues with it at first. Like, the beginning of it, it did have some of those mic complaints, where it's like, well, how is she so naturally good at stuff? You know, we're just putting words in Mike's mouth about strong female characters right now. We do love him, Miss Mike, as well, because he hasn't been talking too much in the chat. So,
he's been quiet.
Yeah, he's been pretty quiet. Obviously, definitely been dealing with some shit. But, like, at the beginning, I thought she was a little bit of a Mary Sue. Like, and a lot of people have been making episode 7 references when it comes to her and Ray and just being good at shit. I was like, I mean, you kind of had to be good at shit, and she just happens to be the female who bothered to do anything but what the rest of the females of the tribe do. You know? She did learn medicine, she learned how to do the other stuff, but she also decided to go out and learn how to hunt. And she's got a lot of ingenuity, she's incredibly smart, figures out a lot of cool shit. I'm not gonna, you know. I also don't know that using a tomahawk in that manner would actually work. I want to see someone.
I did that 4 things that the a friend of mine, Sam, does them. He's like give the plots without giving away the story.
Yeah.
And one of the pictures I used was Scorpion saying, "Get over here."
Yeah. I got that. Because I was looking at that, I was like, okay, where are these references going to come in? But you know what would have been really funny? If you do that, but it's literally just 4 shots from other Predator movies.
Yeah.
Because you just reference all the shit that was from other movies. It's a good movie. I am glad I saw it on Hulu instead of paying big theater money for it.
I think I probably I don't know if I'd have been mad because I know people that paid to go see The Predator and
you know what?
I'd be mad if I was those people.
You know what I didn't know, and I found this out from a buddy of mine at work who is Native American. There is an actual native language version.
Yeah, they said it's actually better. Like
it's a dub though. More, that's the annoying part.
Yeah, but it's like, but you enjoy the spectacle of the movie more because you're not so much paying attention. You're having to use context clues to enjoy the movie. So since you don't speak, what is it? Is it Comanche?
It's
right?
Comanche.
Yeah. And so if you don't actually understand the language, you're literally just watching the movie.
See, that's what I loved when the fur traders guys come in. There's no subtitles.
They went all French. Yeah.
There's no subtitles for those guys at all. I was like, I would have loved this movie to have been in the native language with subtitles. The whole thing. Like I'm fine that but I hated going back and forth between English and Comanche. That part was annoying because part of me thought amongst themselves.
That's some with the French too, because when they were talking to each other, it was just French. But when it was something that we needed to know, they'd say with heavily accented English.
No, that was actually just the one guy who spoke English, or he spoke Comanche. See, that's the thing. We don't know if they were actually speaking English or because that one dude was a translator. It was just never actually said. That's what the one dude who came to talk to her and like tried to set her free and stuff, and that she later worked on. Like he had his leg cut off. She tried to save him. He was a translator. That's what he was there for.
By the way, that's the guy we used when I didn't want to say anything. Now Dormammu's not on here.
Yeah, he won't.
That's the one I was talking about when we were making that argument with him. We're like, dude, what about the guy? Like he was looking right at him, didn't see him because he thought he was dead, and then he didn't know he was alive until he fucking stepped on him and he yelled.
Yep, and he yelled. Yep. So, even beyond that, there were other instances of the cold thing. Either way. So, but the whole point was I wanted to know if they were actually speaking English. Or if it was just for our benefit, because then when they were amongst themselves, they didn't. Like when they're back in the tribe, they weren't speaking English. I was like, why would they go in the woods and speak English and then speak Comanche when they're back in the tribe or in the?
So we knew what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, but I mean, like, why bother switching back and forth when they could just do subtitles? Yeah. Like, I'm all
not a
for
subtitle
that.
fan, so I'm not. I don't. Well, if I want to read, I bring out a book.
Well,
if I'm watching a movie, I don't want to. I don't want to read it.
For me, all or nothing. I mean, it makes sense for the French guys to not to be speaking French, but like either have them only speak English and that's just for our benefit, or only speak Comanche. Because it was
you ever
weird.
watched a World War II movie?
Oh yeah.
Anything based on World War II?
Yeah.
So they speak English so we understand it, but then they also speak German to each other.
Yeah, but I mean, like sometimes it's when you're speaking to someone of another, regardless of another language. That makes sense. But I like it whenever you're going to have multilingual people. Obviously, you want to have multilingual representation. But in this one, we're either led to believe that they speak English amongst themselves, which doesn't make a lot of sense in 1741 or 7, whatever year that was. Or, no, 1719, right? Is that one?
It makes sense that they would speak English by that time.
Maybe, but you got to, I think.
Because they were sending out all the Catholic Church was sending out all the people to convert people by that time.
Maybe. I mean, this is still pre-Revolutionary War, so maybe. It just depends, because like whenever they actually ran into the fur traders, they seemed really confused. But then again, they're speaking a language they hadn't heard before. So,
but they weren't confused by a bear trap, so that means they've ran across modern stuff, so they know stuff.
She seemed very confused by the bear trap. But
she immediately knew how to take it off. You know what I mean? She immediately knew how the whole mechanism worked as soon as it first clicked the dog.
But see, for me, that was just her level of intelligence, because she figured out what was going on with his tech pretty
we're way more advanced, and I'm pretty sure I couldn't work a bear trap properly the first time without nipping a finger or something. I'd have fucked myself up because I've never worked one before.
I mean,
you have to know how to put pressure here and which switch you got to pick up and what to lay across to hold it down and
well,
if you don't do all it
generally,
in the right order, you'd fuck yourself up.
generally speaking, the basic bear trap is the middle is the thing that is spring loaded, and then you have a single latch that holds the thing down that is triggered by the thing you step on.
But you also have to know when you push it down and you open it, you have to hold a certain thing a certain way, or it's just going to snap back shut again while you're trying to put the latch across it. You see what I mean?
But
so
she
have to know.
But she also wasn't trying to reset it. She was just trying to get it off. You know, so she just only had to open it enough to get it off the dog's tail, for instance. So I mean, all she had to do was pull on it hard enough from that first experience. But either way, that's one of the things.
Did she use the bear trap later against the dude?
Yeah, she used it on the predator.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she got that one out of the camp though. It wasn't the same one.
So it was already loaded.
When she stepped on the one that, remember, she got into it, and then the predator,
heavy spoilers, y'all.
Yeah, we're not meaning to do spoilers, but we are. So, and I can cut out some of this. It doesn't matter. But like,
knowing our luck, Dormammu will pop in right back. Hey guys, I'm back. What the fuck?
Yeah. So either way, so she steps on it after fighting the predator and running from it. And then when it realizes that she's stuck in a trap, it won't kill her. So I was like, that's not fair. You know, like, I didn't set this trap, so it's not fair for me to kill you. So I like that the essence of the predator, the weird honor amongst hunters and fighters is still there, even in this quote unquote feral version. So
I like how they try to tie it into their belief systems. Like, she believed seeing the ship coming in was the Thunderbird god.
Yeah, which makes sense. The original seeing
the hunt for her became her. What do they call that? Like her, they had a term for it, but it's like her initiation to becoming
her warrior hunter ceremony. But
you have to go out and do this. You have to hunt something that's hunting you. That's why they called it prey.
So yeah. So here's the thing that was a little bit weird about that. So she made it seem like she was going to the trials, as it were, to be considered a hunter. But then when her brother, quote unquote, took out the lion, he got made into the war chief.
But he was already a hunter by that time. Like, he already passed his
that's true.
Trial.
That part's true. But why did that one thing upgrade him? There's a few things that
it had killed a bunch of their tribe. It had almost killed her, and he went back out. So now they know this animal has a taste for human blood. So now he went back out and hunted it down and killed it. So I think that gave him a little more. It gave him more street cred, I guess, is the best. Because when she kills the predator, she becomes the war chief.
That's what I was getting at. She wasn't a hunter yet.
Yeah, but it killed a bunch of their tribe, and then she took it out.
So there's some things that aren't technically explained. They're just shown to you. But see, that's where I like, either you're going to go with a whole lot of exposition, but the thing is with things that don't speak, like the predator, or with French guys you can't understand because they're speaking French and there's no translation for it, you have to be shown context. You have to be shown what's going on, you know. And that's one thing this movie did do well, but then it's like the stuff they actually say is the stuff that's like, I need to know a little bit more about what you just did and said. It's like the things you aren't saying are coming across perfect. The thing you actually said, I'm a little confused about. It's like, so there's a couple things that movie does really well, and a couple things where it's like, okay. I was like, I'll go with it, but I'm like, I'll let it go because it's a movie at this point. But it's worth it. It's worth seeing. Definitely better than some of the last couple things. But I need to rewatch the video that was talking about where AVP now falls because of that. It does retcon things. I think that the actual intention by the director was to make this the first time they ever came to Earth, which is why
I think that's a fan theory.
No, I think he said it,
and I get it.
No, I'm saying the director said this.
Garbage movies.
Yeah, but I'm saying the director.
But then that would be
they're
purposely going out of their way to cut out a continuity because the studios know people hate those movies.
Well, the thing is, AVP is already a weird crossover that was questionable canon in the first place. Whether it's because it already fucks up the Weyland-Yutani situation. So it's already strange. Like that's the only thing about AVP is that it's already fan
I don't
fiction.
think it played Weyland-Yutani. He's in the movie.
No, I know, but then again, he's also in Prometheus. So it's like you can't be the same
in
person.
Flashbacks.
No. In Prometheus, he is alive because he comes back. He's been in cryosleep or whatever. He's old as fuck, and he meets the
cryosleep, so that explains it away.
Well, was he in cryosleep or is he just really fucking old? Because like that's the thing is like because
I thought those were flashbacks when they were talking about David being younger, like when he was first created. Because I thought those were flashbacks explaining his backstory.
No, that was in Not Prometheus. That was in Covenant.
Same storyline.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying Covenant also changed things. Like
Gotcha.
so, like they had
can't leave
wonky.
shit. They don't know how to follow their own Bible.
But Prometheus wasn't technically supposed to be the alien universe, but of course it was. But then also Covenant is like, is it? It's like it says alien at the beginning, but is it?
But is it though?
But is it though? So AVP, I think what they're saying is AVP is canon to the alien storyline, just not the Predator storyline. So it's like
it had predators in it, so it makes zero sense.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's predators in that universe, not this one. Yeah, this one is in line with the Predator movies.
This is why that fucking Doctor Strange movie is trash, because not everybody wants to talk multiverse and
the reason
multiverses and shit.
Well, multiverse gives you a reason to retcon stuff without taking out other things that.
Yeah,
but see, that's why,
which is a problem, because now everybody's just using it. It's a huge crush.
So it
now we're going to do it with Predators too, just because AVP sucked balls. We're going to use that. Well, that's trash.
I liked the movie Predators, so that was fine. Never saw the
Predator. You're talking about Predators with Adrian Brody?
Yes. So I like that movie.
It wasn't bad.
No, it's
Me
not
either.
bad.
It was my third favorite one.
And it explained the lore, or expanded the lore. Mm-hmm. And we'd never seen people taken to an alien world. We've only seen aliens coming here. And it wasn't like futuristic people who hopped on a spaceship.
Danny Trejo went out like a bitch in that movie, though.
He did. But I like the Predator / Yakuza showdown in the moonlit field.
Yeah,
I was like,
in the tall grass and all that. It's
shit. Like so Kurosawa, so anime.
I was like, yeah, you're ripping this out of anime. It's crazy.
And Kurosawa films. There's a lot of it in there. But also Topher Grace. I didn't dig him in that movie. I thought his story.
But he was a dick. It was good to see him be a dick.
Yeah. Speaking of which, he's in Black Mirror in that one particular episode, and it's so strange. Like when you first see him, you're like, "Is that?
Why is Venom here?"
Yeah, it's like, well, he could be Venom. But anyway, so that's what else? I forgot other things I watched. I did watch Uncharted. I think I forgot to mention that last week.
Me too. Oh, I forgot to mention that one. I watched it too. Good reminder.
So we're basically all feeding each other's watch lists at this point. Is what's happening. So I enjoyed. Actually, I watched it twice. I watched it by myself, and then I rewatched it with the wifey. She actually said, "Oh, I want to watch that." I was like, "You want to watch that? Even know what it is?" He's like, "No, but it's got Tom Holland in it." And so she liked it, but she loves the National Treasure movies. So she loves National.
I enjoy the National Treasure movies. So.
Okay, so my biggest gripe about it was just that Mark Wahlberg was 100% just being that character that he's been in like the last 10 movies, like, and that's why
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, just being Mark Wahlberg, and I'm like, is this just an awkward Entourage spinoff, and nobody told us? Like
Mark Wahlberg is another one that's like The Rock. They do great movies. But they're not great actors. They're okay.
No,
they're not the worst actors I've ever seen.
He can be good, but
when he's playing Mark Wahlberg, if he plays Mark Wahlberg in a movie, he's great.
He was good.
If he doesn't, he's trying to force a character to be Mark Wahlberg, and it's not good.
Yeah, he was good in The Departed, and he wasn't straight up.
Mark Wahlberg is a loudmouth up north douchebag in that, so he's still just being Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, but this one was like no transformation at all. Like playing Sully, there was like the mustache at the end. Oh, by the way, the fucking end credit scene, I'm sure that meant something to video game nerds, but like for the casuals, there's no context for what's happening at that end credit scene.
It just kind of means there's another adventure.
It's meant to go on to a sequel, which is obvious.
I want to say the map that they were trying to get was the map to get to the Nazi submarine from the first game. Don't make me lie, and somebody will probably correct me on it, but I think that's what the tie is. It's just supposed to be a nod to that.
Was this movie meant to be a prequel to the games?
Not really, and yes at the same time, because
I don't mean officially.
They have a backstory in Uncharted 4 Thief's End that tells how Nathan Drake was younger when he was a kid and breaking into stuff, and how his brother went off and left and all that kind of stuff. So they have that story already.
Okay.
It's you play as a young version of him at the beginning of the game.
I gotcha.
And then his brother's in it, and that's the nod at the end, him being in the jail cell, that's in that game too. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, it's all kind of nods in that general direction, but I think they're just kind of acting like it's the same universe, though, because I don't know if they're making it an actual prequel or just doing a version of it.
I will also say Antonio Banderas was 100% wasted in this movie.
No. His
Like-
ending was awesome, dude. That
Dude,
caught me off guard. I did not see that
Oh,
coming.
I saw it coming. I 100% saw it
Not
coming.
me.
Because they had
Not
already
me at all.
They had alluded to
I
it
thought he was going to
twice.
kill all of them. I thought he was going to kill all of them because he didn't want to share the money with them.
No, I think he would have.
I thought he was about to kill. I thought he was going to hit like the the open button on a plane where they eject everybody.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to do that shit and blow them all out the back.
Yeah.
I thought that's what was coming down.
No, well, that happened.
Like,
That happened
really
anyways.
Caught me off guard. Yeah, well,
that did happen
later,
anyways.
but
Oh, by the
it caught
way,
me off guard. I thought that's what he was going to do.
so he already had all these goons that were on the plane. They had all their supplies on the plane. They were going to do a drop to wherever they needed to go. The ship was getting dropped off by parachute. Then they were going to land, go by boat to where they dropped everything, and then continue on the adventure, so to speak. So then
real quick, sorry, off track again. My kids at the window shaking up and down and yelling at me. They just beat the Avengers game too, the PS4 Avengers game that just came out like last year or whatever. God, they're just in there killing
they're just
games.
killing games. Good for them. Also, spicy video game conversation on Nerd Rage this week. And I actually texted Bobby about that. I was like, damn, dude. But anyway, that's off topic. Okay, so what I was going to say about Uncharted, though. I was very angry at the ultimate demise of that beautiful 300 SL Gullwing. That was some bullshit. That is what...
That whole entire section was complete and utter fucking trash.
Yeah.
Like the suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
That made it,
dude. Rubber Tom Holland jumping between the boxes.
Or my favorite is him bouncing off the fucking boxes.
Yeah.
And also, let me explain science to people that don't understand it. There's this thing called terminal velocity. When something is falling from the sky, it will reach its peak speed. It will never get faster, and you cannot catch up to it. It is fake in movies when stuff takes off and gets faster to catch up to something else. Once you reach your terminal velocity, you will never get, unless you have some kind of propulsion. If it's just you will never get, gravity doesn't work that way. You can't make yourself faster in air. Once you hit terminal velocity, you're done. That's your max speed.
Incorrect.
You can't catch up to it.
Incorrect.
Not true.
Incorrect.
Yeah, okay.
If you
okay, flat earther.
Drafting. They drafted the box and the car. So
okay, Fast and the Furious.
No, they did. Literally, if you're falling, if there's
what I'm saying is he caught up to it, is my point.
But what I'm saying is the box is falling.
I'm not even talking about trying to draft it.
But you know that
he would have never caught it.
If he was falling, if it fell before him and got significantly far away, there would be no way for him to catch up to it under normal circumstances. If he's directly above it, going down towards it, it is creating a negative trail of air behind it so that he could draft it. It also has probably a slower terminal velocity due to its volume. It's
a bigger, flatter space.
Yeah, so it's going to fall slower than him in the first place. And that's why
how's he going to find that draft? The draft line doesn't stay straight, right?
It depends. Just basically,
he would have to have something finding it.
Well, that's also why you make yourself, you've seen skydivers dive.
Yeah, where they make themselves small.
They made themselves small. So when you want to slow down, you spread the fuck out. When you want to quote unquote fall faster, you go narrow, basically diving at the thing. So, but it is bullshit when it's so far ahead. I granted that part's true, but also
the one that was it wasn't even this movie. I watched something else. Oh, you know what it was? It was Gray Man.
Oh,
it was the pushing somebody out of plane with a parachute, and they're already out of the plane and gone, and you play catch up to them so you can use the parachute.
That's been done in so many movies.
That's the bullshit I'm talking about.
Now, if they're laying flat, they'll be falling slower. Their surface area is greater, therefore falling slower. But the concept of how much faster you will be able to catch up to them, I think Mythbusters did something about this before. From what was that movie? Keanu Reeves,
Point Break.
Point Break, yeah. So the skydiving thing in Point Break, I believe they covered this as well. So under a lot of circumstances, you're correct. But I think if you're trying to catch another person, going to be nearly impossible. Trying to catch a falling box that's like 10 by 10. Yeah.
But how about bouncing off the crate and being able to hold on with just
all of that's horseshit.
Fingers.
Okay.
The jumping and she can pull his whole entire body weight up from one hand wrist lock.
Yeah. No, beyond that, the catching a single hanging rope under the fucking ship that's being carried by a helicopter and just climbing back up, or Sully climbing those chains, that like 100-foot fucking chains.
Look, I understand Mark Wahlberg is a strong dude. Like he's
pretty fucking buff,
and he's worked out. But have you ever tried to deadlift somebody before? Like just pick them up off the ground with just your strength? Now imagine doing that with only one hand wrapped around a wrist.
Yeah.
Because like when he jumps up to the helicopter, you know, he's like, just trust me.
Oh yeah.
And he jumps and they reach out. They do that in movies all the time
too. The
too.
jumping up from a falling thing is so stupid.
Is awesome.
No, it's so stupid.
In most movies where they do that reach where they just grab each other's wrists.
Yeah.
You understand how much force that would pop probably your shoulder out of place. And more importantly, it would pull you out to them. Yeah. And the likeliness of you being strong enough to stop their motion with you just standing still.
Unless you're anchored somehow. But yeah, you're right about the injury thing. But okay. Well, the funny thing is they kind of proved the whole deadlifting problem earlier in the movie in the water's trap scene where he cannot lift her out of the water.
Yep.
Like he can't, he's
only got Sully can pick him up out of the midair.
Yeah.
Hundreds of feet above while he's flying a helicopter.
What's dumb about that is they had a way out of that. All he would have had to do while still piloting the helicopter was drop the helicopter a foot or two. And then he literally would have been
to do that. You know, the backpack that he threw, you know, he threw out his gold or all that.
Yeah.
It had straps. Just reach back with your backpack.
But then
you've got a rope that he can grab onto. I know but then you're playing with will hold his weight. Yada. I get it, but it's a lot more realistic than him just grabbing him out of a midair fall.
Well, the other thing is, not only are you now holding the weight of a Tom Holland, you're holding the weight of however much gold that is, because gold ain't light. They like to pretend that gold is like super easy to carry around. You're talking about a fucking big ass carry pack that is full of fucking solid gold objects. That's probably 100 fucking pounds worth of gold in that shit, and he's just carrying it around like it's a notebook.
Misconception because they're like, it's the softest metal, it's the lightest. You know, people have a misconception of what gold actually feels like. Yeah. But I'm saying. People have a misconception of it.
Yeah, because gold is really dense.
They don't realize it's heavy. Like they talk about, like you watch movies where they move gold bars and all that stuff like it's nothing. Yeah. No, fuck no. Like I've watched videos of people moving actual real gold bars, and these are some strong looking dudes, and they're straining to move two at a time.
That's like
it's not easy.
Like when people always talk about a pound of feathers versus a pound of hammers or whatever. If you actually look at the volume of said pound is what matters. So if you look a pound of steel and a pound of fucking gold, the gold pound is going to be significantly smaller than the steel pound. Like so
it's denser.
It's so much denser, and people don't realize that. That's why I thought it was so much horseshit. Also, the stupidest part of that movie: get all the gold off the ship first, then go back and get each ship separately.
Did you get Goonie vibes at the boat at the end?
All good. Well, I got Goonie vibes from the second he went into the cave. I was waiting for somebody to go, "Hey, you guys!"
I kind of felt a little there, but
where's Dormammu?
They actually showed
Dormammu, make it happen. Give us the meme.
When they showed the ship fall and then float off, I'm like, these motherfuckers are Goonies. The end of this movie.
And then they instantly did the right thing. I was just waiting
for good enough to start playing across the top of it.
No, the stupidest part. So. Tom says it
But let me say this, because we keep saying stupidest part. This is actually a pretty good.
Oh, it's a great movie, but it's so dumb. Movie. When you crack it down, it is
remember
dumb.
We had a video game conversation. This one would probably crack my top 5. It's a good.
This would be an honorable mention. This would be an honorable mention.
It's good. Okay. Take the nostalgia out of Mario. This is a better video game than Mario. A better video game movie. Because this actually follows the game.
By far. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Follows the story and the spirit of the game. Mario does not.
Even eliminating the fact that it is a video game movie, it's still a decent movie. It's like
I very much. It's a decent movie. If you like National Treasure,
you need no
Indiana
reference.
Jones,
you need no reference to watch this
movie.
Yeah,
it very much falls in line with those type of movies.
So I've been watching a bunch of movie critics and stuff like that, and podcasters who've been saying that for a long time Hollywood is trying to be able to crack the Indiana Jones code. Like no other movie franchise has come closer than maybe National Treasure, but even then it's different on the other end of it.
Because it's Nick Cage.
It's because it's Nick Cage. This was very much, especially with the traps, the needing to know history, the respect for history, not just fucking going at it like that, and having the adventure along the way. And also the fact that this is one of the only adventure movies like this where the girl really didn't get in the way of the story. Like,
well, in the games, the girls are very important to the story.
I mean, the girls were in this one too.
Characters. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They played those perfectly.
So this is the last thing I'm going to say on this, and then we'll move on with the rest of my week. had Antonio Banderas hired Chloe and Sully,
Mm-hmm.
none of this
This
movie would have
been about 30 minutes
This
long.
movie would have been about 30 minutes movie. It would have been very short, and it would have been taken care of because he would have just hired Sam, and he would have hired, and then even if that went wrong, they go get Nate, and then everything goes exactly to plan.
Yep.
That's what's so
now, the
stupid
only thing I'm gonna
about
this is the last
movie.
thing I want to say about it
Yeah.
is usually when it comes to a video game movie, after watching the movie, I will usually go back and play the video game to take the nasty taste out of my mouth. Like you guys know, my number one was the Prince of Persia.
Yeah,
I hated that movie. I literally went back and played the original Prince of Persia trilogy just to get that nasty taste out of my mouth of that movie because I wanted to enjoy the story again.
Yeah.
This movie, the Assassin's Creed movie, Uncharted, and the Assassin's Creed movies are the only time I've ever went and played the games afterwards because I enjoyed it so much. It made me want to play the games again.
I have a question about Assassin's Creed, just real quick.
Go for it.
In
the movie or the games?
Both. This is the way I'm going to phrase this.
Mm-hmm.
Given that this movie is a perfectly good standalone movie that is based on a video game, if they did an Assassin's Creed movie that took place, say 85% of the movie took place as the period piece, and then at the end it's revealed that it's all taking place in the Animus.
That wouldn't be true to the Assassin's Creed games.
I know, but I'm saying, would it work as a movie?
I think people's issue with the Assassin's Creed movie is that it didn't fit the game's story because it made a whole new protagonist, kind of spun into a slightly different area. That's where I think people disliked so much about it. And then there's the little stuff, like I talk about the gyro arm and all that shit. That shit was dumb, and it kind of changed the basics of Assassin's Creed. But the story in and of itself was good. It was beautifully shot. I don't understand people's such hatred for it. And the only thing I can say is if they made a movie that exactly followed the Desmond Miles storyline, people would be happy. It would have to follow it exactly. Because all the games
same
start
thing with
out,
Master Chief, right?
Yeah. The games start out, you're in the past. Usually you're in the past, and then they bring you out. Like after the first level is the hand holding level to show you how to do everything.
Of course.
They bring you out of it into modern times, and then they're like, oh, hey, it's you, and you're this person, and now we're going to put you back in again so you can find some more of your ancestors' memories, and then you go back and play more of the past stuff.
Also,
the movie kind of did it opposite. They started modern times and then went to the past. So I think that might have been another thing that kind of messed everybody up.
See, this is why I was saying, what if they did that, but for like most of the movie takes place during an assassin story back in the day, Templars, assassins. And then
I would enjoy it more because I'm a history nut.
Yeah, but then I would enjoy
the whole movie. Like, let the whole movie be in the past.
Yeah,
and then let the mid-credit scene be somebody waking up from the Animus.
That's what I was getting at. With that. Yeah, see, that's what I meant. Where almost the entire movie takes place in the past, and then it's revealed, oh, this is all an Animus flashback.
Yep.
From there, the sequels can do both.
Could branch more into both. Yeah. And I think that would be awesome. And
that's what I was
really
getting
good too. Like hardcore Assassin's Creed fans that are really into the lore, they would enjoy that because then they can, while watching the movie, they'd be looking for those little contextual clues and stuff. Oh, we're talking about assassins. We're talking about the Templars, and they're assassinos. Yeah,
assassinos.
That's what they say.
That's a pizza place.
Nope, Paisanos is a pizza place.
I think that's assassinos.
But
ass-enos.
Yeah,
nobody would want to eat at a place. Nobody would want to eat at a place that starts with ass.
You can't say that about everybody. I know a lot of people are good with eating ass, so I don't know about all that.
And those people are weird. So moving on from watching stuff. Oh no, not moving on yet. Yes. Sorry, I forgot the highlight. I forgot the absolute highlight of the last week. The reason we signed up for Hulu. It's the only place you can stream Willy's Wonderland.
That's the Nick Cage Five Nights at Freddy movie?
Have you
never watched it?
Go watch it.
I never played Five Nights at Freddy.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't need the reference. This movie stands on its own.
Isn't it a horror movie?
It's not really a horror movie. It's
Remember who my wife is. I can't watch even the slightest bit of scary shit around her.
I mean, it's not really scary. It's fucking like Like Halloween or something like that is significantly scarier. Like
Okay.
it's a parody of Five Nights at Freddy's, but the funny thing is this particular story was written round about the same time that Scott Cawthon was writing Five Nights at Freddy's, so they just evolved separately on the same thing.
Yeah.
But of course, FNAF got much bigger very quickly. This movie took a long time to get made. But the funny thing is, so I already knew about this movie. I already watched reviews of this movie, and I was watching a Nostalgia Critic review of the movie with the wifey, because she came home from work. I already had it queued up. I made dinner and we watched it. She's like, I really want to watch that movie now. So already knowing everything about the movie, she wanted to go and watch it. So that's why we signed up for Hulu. And that night we watched the movie, and she loved the fuck out of it. And it is,
Message me the name of it again so I don't forget about it.
it's Willy's Wonderland. I mean, it's on Hulu. You already have Hulu, so you're good to go. You can rent
and what's the other you're talking about Nick Cage before you move past this?
The Unbearable Weight of whatever talent.
Is that what it is with Pedro Pascal?
Yeah, that is not
Where's
streaming.
that streaming
It's
at?
not. It's not streaming anywhere. You can Redbox it or you can rent it.
Okay.
So The Unbearable Weight of a something talent. Immeasurable?
Yeah,
I think it's Immeasurable Talent.
That's the one I want to watch.
I want to watch it too. So once I bet it'll be on Hulu. Looks
Or
like
HBO
we're probably going to keep Hulu and probably drop something else in the meantime.
I think we're about to drop Paramount because I haven't watched anything on there.
See, I don't even have Paramount. I think I'm going to drop Netflix for a while because there's not a whole lot on Netflix that I can't watch other places at the moment. And I already have 7 streaming services. Something's got to go, and I need HBO for at least until the House of Dragons is done with. And obviously no more DC stuff coming out there for quite some time. So, okay, so done with watching. But I had forgotten to write down Uncharted and Willy's Wonderland, so I did that.
I forgot about Uncharted too. That's crazy.
Yep. So, I did move some stuff around here in the cave. I finally got all my Star Wars boxes put away. Got my closet/review area really organized. And then I set up to do in the kitchen with Shoky video. So I had to move my microphone and camera setup in there. And in editing the Bronx review, the NECA Bronx video, I realized what a commenter was saying about my previous Gundam review. And it's something I couldn't really hear in the edit. I only heard it in the final video. You could really hear anytime I'm moving my arms around or hitting something on the table, reverberating through the mic arm into the mic. And the problem is
because all the springs on the joint,
because of the springs, but also the fact that it was touching the lights. So it's like I couldn't, I figured it out. It was touching the light because I heard it. Like while I was doing the review, I heard it go against the light, and I was like, so I pulled it back because I only have so much room. I mean, we're talking about a couple inches of clearance. So post shooting the videos in the kitchen, I rigged up a little bracket. Like I was going to put a shelf in there, but there was nowhere near enough space to put the shelf I already have. So if I just get like one of those bullshit little like single candle shelves you can pick up at like Michael's or whatever, the non-painted things, that will ultimately be what I need because it is just a clamp on arm. So I have a temporary solution to where it's now attached to the wall, not attached to the review set. So in theory, the next couple of videos I need to do will sound better.
My clamp is attached to the table that my DTOFs are on. Like I have my DTOFs up off the ground on a display table, and it's right next to my desk. So I actually have my microphone armature attached to that.
Yeah,
coming up over to the desk.
Yeah, and I mean, like for a podcast, it's probably not going to be anywhere near as bad because you're not moving around nearly as much as I would be doing during a review. Especially if I'm manhandling a transformer or something like that. And I have my forearms resting on the desk usually. Because everything I'm manipulating is so low to the surface. So, but I didn't notice it until the Bronx review, and it was really bad. So I made that change. So that tomorrow or later tonight when I do the new reviews, I got to get done for this week. I'll see how big the change is because it won't be connected to it at all, but it's going to be near it. So I might still have the accidental contact with the lights, but I will no longer have the impacts from touching the desk. So that's something I'm happy to have done. I did read. I don't remember if I mentioned it last time that I redid my Power Ranger shelves. But I'll have a video coming out about that. I took pictures of it, but I didn't take video of it. But I'm going to be doing a lot more, especially with Transformers, especially with all my NECA collection. So I'm making changes in here. Oh, I did hang up a shadow box with my 8-bit Mario collection in it. So I had the Jakks Pacific 8-bit figures. But I put them in there like, I don't know, 3 years ago, maybe longer. But I never displayed it at the old Shoky cave or here. And it was just in storage. And I was like, going to just get rid of it. And then after I moved the final Billy into here and I only had a narrow space between the door and the Billy, it's the perfect spot for that shadow box. So now that's up on the wall. I found my other shadow box buried in the closet while I was doing all the other stuff. And I still have the rest of my 8-bit characters along with my Mega Man 8-bit collection from Jakks. So I'm probably going to put them in shadow boxes and hang it right below the Mario stuff. So that finally at least get that representation of my 8-bit Nintendo stuff on the wall for the first time in years. Because it's just in a huge box over here. Otherwise, I'll be getting rid of all the other Jakks Pacific little 2.5-inch figures. Because I won't need them anymore. So those will be up for sale sometime soon. Let's see, what else? I gained a little bit of someone else's collection yesterday. But a very different type of collection this time. Unfortunately, a friend of mine got into some legal troubles and decided to quit drinking as a result, and he had a fairly extensive collection of liquor and beer. So between several other friends and myself, we cleaned him out yesterday. So I have some now high dollar tequilas and a few other things that I got from him. Now I have to set up my own alcohol collection somewhere. The wifey has been bothering me for a long time to set up a drinks cart off to the side of the kitchen. So right now all of our big liquor bottles are on top of the fridge in a kind of precarious position because like there's a bad foot on our fridge and it rocks a little bit much. So we're often wary of those bottles taking a dive. So I think I might go buy one of those little cheap IKEA like 2-level metal carts. You've probably seen them.
Yeah.
Might go buy that and we'll just like keep it off to the slanted wall in the kitchen and just have all our alcohol and stuff like that on it. I think it'll look pretty good. Not to mention give us one more little storage space for something. But he's the reason like I know that there are major differences between tequilas in flavor, because most people know like Patron and stuff like that where it's just a really basic thing. But these are a lot of different ones. He told me about the science of where tequila is made.
Where they take the roots and they bake the roots and all that kind of shit.
It's not even necessarily that. It's the soil composition of the different parts of Mexico. So depending on where it was made, it's going to taste different. In fact, it has a very peppery flavor, which is very different. And it doesn't matter whether or not it's aged or not. It just matters on the source in the first
nutrients
place.
they pulled out of the soil and stuff.
Yeah, so it's pretty different.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so and it's and I don't really drink a lot of tequila because I usually will kick my ass, but now that I'm a little bit more familiar with it, it's actually tequila is surprisingly good for not having hangovers when you're not drinking in excess, like compared to whiskey or even vodka. Well, maybe not vodka for me with my Eastern European blood, but because I can drink that shit all day and not have a problem. But say like if I drank a buttload of Jameson or something like that, I would be fucked. So what's funny is I was watching Two Bears, One Cave with Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, and they were talking about starting a tequila company because all these other celebrities are starting some type of alcohol. But Bert said he wants to do tequila because he started drinking tequila over vodka because he has no hangover. So it's kind of funny. It might be a brand specific deal, but they're talking about potentially actually creating a tequila brand in the future called Dos Osos. So Two Bears. So, you know,
I know what that means.
Yeah, I'm explaining for all our non-Spanish speakers. So everything they do together, they want to keep branded under the Two Bears name. So, so if in the near future you see Dos Osos tequila, it's because of those dipshit comedians. I love those guys. It's so fucking funny. If you're unfamiliar with Tom Segura or Bert Kreischer, I would suggest doing a quick YouTube search and or Netflix. Both of them have many Netflix specials. So, if you ever heard of The Machine, that's Bert Kreischer. And I think, obviously I got a couple of things, or I forgot I showed you guys, but I forgot to mention in my week. I did get the power. Maybe I did mention it last week with the Tyrannosaurus Century. Did I mention?
I don't think you mentioned it, but
I think I mentioned it was coming. I think I was mentioning it was coming. So
I don't know if you mentioned what it was, but I think you said you had something on the way.
Yeah, so I ordered it from Target. I got it in. Oh, you know why I think I mentioned it? Because I already did a video on it. That's why. So this is a YouTube inception where I have already talked about something, just not here. So I got the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Target exclusive Tyrannosaurus Century from the comics. I got it directly from Target because it was not available on store shelves. It's not going to be available on BBTS so far. And
give it a few months, it'll be there.
Well, the thing is, people are already charging out the ass for the couple places that got it early, like Malaysia, stuff like that. So I'm not going to do that. So I paid regular price from Target.com. Now I'm getting all the fucking emails about everything. But good to know that if need be, I could snag it from there, because Hasbro Pulse actually did have it only in a limited capacity. So they wanted you to really buy it from Target, not from them. So they did the pre-order, and then when it came in, it sold out super fast and it was gone. So it has been on Target shelves. I just haven't found it locally yet. And I don't know if in the comics, I'll have to go back and look at the beginning of the Shattered Grid storyline, whenever they first ended up in the world of the Coinless. I don't remember if there was only one Tyrannosaurus Century. This is the goons of Lord Draken in that universe. So Evil Tommy took other people's powers and figured out a way to distribute the power amongst multiple people. So he created entire armies of Power Rangers. So he had the black, the yellow, blue was non-existent for whatever reason, or if they had it, it was very not used very much. And then he had the Pink Ranger already on his side, so he didn't have to worry about that. So I'm trying to remember if there were more than one or only one. I don't need to really fill out a whole bunch on my comic book shelf, which is my now bottom shelf of my Power Rangers display. But it's good to see more shit coming from the comics, which gives me hope, because there's so much going on, especially in the current storyline going on with the Omega Rangers. Now that the Death Ranger is coming into play, and they're giving themselves variants. So it's going to be their version of like what DC did with their zombies and what Marvel did with their zombies. It's just going to be the Power Rangers zombie storyline, essentially. That's what's happening. So it's still pretty cool though. But every time somebody gets quote unquote infected, their suit changes accordingly. So now they can give us extra variants of characters that didn't exist otherwise. So
endless repaints.
Well, the thing is, they're going to be remolds too. So like the Silver Ranger from In Space that just came out. Once he's infected with the Death Ranger, he overall he looks the same, but like his boots elongate, like come up to like knee guards. His gloves extend up the forearm and become sharper. The color bars on his chest change color.
They'll just retool one and use it for everybody. Well, trust me, they have it planned out. They're going to steal something from a Marvel Legend or something and slap it on there.
No, because the thing with the Power Rangers is there's not a lot that in between series, there's nothing that really, outside of the boots and the gloves, generally speaking, are all the same, to the point that they even use the same feet and same hands on virtually every Power Ranger, unless there's a very specific change. But like even the new, they haven't given us the new version of the Green Ranger yet, which will be a remold. Like they have to remold the forearms, they have to remold the legs, they have to remold the helmet, they have to remold the shield. So like a comic accurate new Green Ranger, and actually he has a completely different texture for his suit and completely different details underneath. So he's not the same basic Ranger, because he's now very different. His powers are based in a different source. So in this case, where all these Rangers who are being corrupted, or however you want to call it, infected in the comics, which by the way, the Death Ranger is the Gold Death Ranger, or Gold Omega Ranger. So it's pretty cool how they're tying it in. But also being the God of Death, or however they're gonna make it. It's actually more like Blackest Night in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going with that route, like where it's Necron doing the things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like their version of Necron, but as a Power Ranger. But like I said, it'll lead to some interesting remolds, except they're doing it to characters that we haven't even seen in figure form yet. So we'll see what happens. Either way, I'm happy about that. No new Transformers this week, oddly enough. I take that back. I did get Sludge. I got the Studio 86 Sludge in my pile of loot. So
Nice.
he's just sitting there because I haven't found him locally yet. So I think that's it for my week. I know it took quite a while. And actually, we're already at 2.5 hours and we haven't even got to a major conversation yet. All right, guys. So Rob actually never came back, so we're going to have to do a separate episode with the discussions we were going to have with him. And I'm amazed we got so much out of this and we didn't even get to his week, unfortunately. But that's going to be it, at least for now. And make sure you do the like and subscribe thing wherever you're listening to us. Rate us 5 stars on whatever app allows you to rate, whether that's Spotify or whatever. And leave us a review if that's a thing that you can do. And of course, you can leave us comments in YouTube or email us at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com. I should check the spam too. Make sure we're not getting any real emails going over there. We're definitely getting spam emails. We've got some very interesting spam emails at that one. But of course, I'm Shoky. You can follow me at all these Shoky related things down below. You can buy merch from this store. And anything purchased in the Nymea part of the store will also get donated towards Mike because he and his family still need help. I will put the link to his GoFundMe down below to remind you guys. Go help him and his family, hopefully get a new home, and also at this point help fix his car so that he can, even keep going to work. They're just having a real bad run of luck over there, and there's only so much we can do being where we're at, So, and you can follow him at the Comic Relief Crusader, and if you want to purchase stuff from Mike to also help the cause, you can do so at freelancegraphics.com. Also linked down below. Rikki, do your stuff because my throat's giving out on me.
You can find me here doing podcasts with Shoky and Mike and whoever else we have coming in when we need to. Or you can find me at the Realm of Collectors YouTube on Friday nights on the Realm Hatton Project. 5 of us get together and talk about stuff, and we do that alternating. This time it's not alternating. We have a weird thing coming up because BotCon's coming up, and that's going to be a big Realm of Collectors thing. It's happening in Nashville at the end of the month. So Friday night was a actual show, and this coming Friday we're going to do another show so that the hangout happens during BotCon because some people will be out of town for BotCon and stuff. But normally we do alternating weeks between a regular show and a live hangout. The live hangouts, anybody wants to, they can jump in, they can grab a link and come in with us. That's part of the realm, and jump in there and just talk with us and nerd out for a little while. And that's Friday nights at 9. The Realm Hatton Project on the Realm of Collectors YouTube page. And you can find me in most of the groups. Rikki B. I'm around.
And work you do for Nerd Rage Radio.
And I make the promos for. Well, you said that earlier.
So, I know, but we repeated at the beginning and the end.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So I make the promos for Nerd Rage that you see on YouTube. So go over there and check them out. They're on all your different podcasting platforms, and you can see my videos on Facebook.
Yes, he does good work. He does good work promoting NRR. He's just not good. He's not good at promoting his promotions.
No, I'm not. I'm still. It's still a hard time. It took me a long time to even get used to saying that out loud. Like,
yeah.
I even like when I first started with you guys, and you were talking about it. I even reached out to Bobby. I'm like, I feel weird that he's putting my name attached to it. Like, is that cool and stuff? And he's like, dude, you should be proud of your work. I'm like, I am, but I'm there as a fan and a friend of yours helping you out, and I don't want to just take shine off of that. He's like, no, dude, it's your thing. Be proud of it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's like
it's still kind of hard for me.
We shout you out for doing that because they do. So there you go. All right, guys. Mm-hmm. So we will catch you on the next episode or the next extra or bonus or whatever it is we're gonna have. But until then,
bye.
Bye.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.